This is Jordan Grace, and you're listening to the Social Suplex Podcast Network.
BWB, this is One Nation Radio. You better get it right. Rich Latta, James Boyd came to give them life. The Blackest Wrestling Podcast has come to kick all ass and drop it 6 feet if they kicking trash. Word, let me welcome y'all to something different. And if you dig it, man, you should let some friends listen. We be getting it in, this on the regular dude. Ravish and flow, but this shit rude. See, James don't rap, so I had to break it down. The whole network, man, we coming for the crown. Raps in the columns, I keep them both covered. Making the beats too, so the listeners can bump it. Hit us with the rating, yeah, I'm saying it's a 5. Before you hit and talk, bob your head side to side. It's One Nation Radio, and this is the beginning. It's Rich, and I'm here with James. It's time to listen to One Nation.
You got to unleash the power of the pyramid.
This is Mike Sempervive from WrestlingObserver.com. Check me out on Wrestling Observer Live every day. And also check out your boys, Rich and James, on One Nation Radio.
This is Kenny Omega. We're listening to One Nation Radio. Check it out, guys. These guys know what's up. Big Kenny Omega fans. That's all that counts to me. Goodbye and good night. Bang. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this week's edition of One Nation Radio. I'm James Boyd. Here with me, I have Rich Latta. What's going on, man?
Chilling, man. Doing the first One Nation Radio here from my new desk setup, so feels kind of official. Got some monitors the other day, and I clamped on the damn holder the right way, and got this here a comfortable desk now. So lots of shit to go over, and we had some big shows, and we're a week away from the election, and I'm just like reading more stuff and hoping things go the right way. And man, so I am ready to do the show.
Okay, so if you don't want to talk about the election stuff or whatever else, we ain't got to. I mean, I'm sure it'll be safe for next week or whatever else. Jesus Christ. But what I'm not going to let slide is you talking about your mood, and you were in anything but just elated and joyous post-marriage, because for those that do not know, they can go to TikTok and catch one Richard Latta dancing his foolish ass off on TikTok. What has gotten into you? What has gotten into you? Is married life really that nice? Is it really that blissful?
I gotta say, the married life has been very easygoing, chill, relaxed, fun. And I was at my mom's house. Whenever I go to my mom's house, I tend to start doing TikTok videos, because my mom has a big TikTok account. Like, she's on there clowning all the time. So she encourages me, and I tend to, find some stuff that I find funny. So when I saw this new thing, I probably seen it a couple weeks ago. It was like some Lil Yachty song, and everybody's doing like this jig like movement. And those of y'all know what the jig is, y'all had to see. So I believe I might have sent something out on Twitter about it. There's a video I put out on Twitter if you guys want to see it. But I plan to make that a nice little meme to add in. But yeah, just having fun, man. Just trying to smile a little bit, because in a week or so we might not be smiling no more. Might be illegal.
It's a pretty fair point. You said it might be illegal. Well, only if you're not like a straight white man. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So I guess get the smiles in while you can. Yeah. Are we going to be allowed to have the internet after this? if it goes,
you never know. You never know.
Oh boy,
you never quite know. I want to say, like, every Saturday morning, there's like on the big intersection near me, there's a lot of people out there with a lot of different flags, or excuse me, a lot of the same flags. And some of them are like American flag variants, if you guys get my hint. There's only one group of people that tend to deface the American flag. Those folks are out there, and I can imagine. I feel like a lot of people gonna be upset either way.
Yeah. it's a good point you mentioned how they come out with these off-brand American flags, but I was like, so y'all get mad at people saying that people are disrespecting the flag. Meanwhile, y'all coming out with these off-brand Fugazi flags? What?
What is that?
Yeah. These are the poo-boo of flags. And you out here hanging that, riding around with that? Like,
look, I can tell you somebody that didn't disrespect the flag, that didn't modify the flag at all. Joel Santana didn't disrespect the flag. That man wore the original colors. Dipset, back like Cook Crack version of Joel's. Yes.
I ever tell you that I once thought of getting that picture of him with the American flag, with the bandana, that whole entire outfit? I actually thought of one time of getting a black t-shirt of just him, of that picture of him wearing that, just cause.
Oh my God.
Just like, what the fuck is nigga should be saluting Santana everywhere he goes.
Yes.
But no, at first, before you even brought up Santana, I thought you were gonna say Kaepernick, which is true. Like, he didn't disrespect the flag. Like, that man was sitting as opposed to doing whatever else. Then turned him into, after talking to someone in the military, to take a knee to show deference to the military because apparently, like, those who are intertwined,
right? They own this.
Yeah. And then that's what got him even more mad. Which is like, okay.
How dare you?
Yeah.
How dare you?
Yeah. Yeah. Nah, that's not, what you doing that you talk to the military person about? That's not what that's about. It's about what I choose it to be. Oh, you fucking assholes. Oh, the same shit, 4 years. This has been a long 4 years, boy. Oh, man. You're right. Please don't let it be another 4. Get him the fuck out of here.
Do your part, and do it the right way. Do it the official One Nation Radio way. We ain't gonna tell you what to do, but we gonna tell you what you should do. We got a lot of like international listeners too. I bet wondering like what the big deal is on this, but I'm sure y'all know this news breaks through. I'm sure we look crazy in these international streets.
Please, like just this year alone, it's like, wait, y'all funky behinds can't stay indoors and keep from catching these fucking cooties? Really? Y'all can't catch it. Y'all can't stop from catching this flim flam? Really?
Fun times.
Yeah, man.
All people got to do is not show up like Kylie Ray. That's,
oh my God,
that's all they got to do. Stay in the house.
Yeah, no showing out there. I totally forgot about that part. Like, I was listening to Observer radio last night, and to hear the story, to like, yeah, she just did not show up. It's like, at first people were like, was this some bait and switch bullshit? It's like, nah, actually, they got fucked. Like, they got fucked. So they decided to go with what they went with, but oh boy, what a mess.
Hope everything's all right.
Yeah, same here. Like, they say that she's I think how did Meltzer term it? That she is physically safe. I think he said he said
it was
physically
not
safe.
It was not an injury.
Right. So,
after initially people thought it was an injury. So
because people are recklessly speculating.
Yeah.
People were like, this is some goofy shit. What's going on?
Yeah. Oh, anyway, I guess we better get to it. So WWE Hell in a Cell last night. Usually a show that for the last few years I have decried and told them it was the downfall of this business. I remember last year at this time, I think we urged people to stop watching WWE. It was either that or the year before. It was one of those years. It was like either after the Rollins and Wyatt thing, it was like, stop watching this company. Like it's not, whatever you used to love about it is over with. It's gone. Like, this is like some other shit now. But I'm proud to say that this year they didn't sink to those low levels. In contrast, it was actually like, you start thinking about the last 2 years, it was like, man, this is damn good. But, we'll get into it.
Yeah. If I remember correctly, last year's show, it was like either like a good 40 minutes or an hour. Like the first Hell in a Cell match, then it was a tag match with Daniel Bryan, Roman Reigns versus Luke and Eric Rowan, right? Yeah, right. So it's like
that was like
Sasha
one of the
Bailey
worst
Hell in a Cell
ever.
Yeah, so Sasha Bailey Hell in a Cell, that tag match, and the rest of it sucked, including The Fiend versus Seth Rollins. And then the year before, the first Hell in a Cell match was great with Orton and Jeff Hardy. That, in the finish of the match was Jeff Hardy climbs to the top of the cell, falls off, to try to splash on Randy Orton, who was laid out on the table in the ring, and Orton moved out the way, and then the EMTs, came in to try to haul him off, and then he said, no, this Hell in a Cell match, there is no such thing as ref stoppage or match being stopped until there is a decisive winner. He pins Jeff Hardy, and then a fucking main event gets ended between Braun Strowman and Roman Reigns, where Brock Lesnar runs in, hits him with 2 finishing moves, and then it's just called off and goes black as a no contest. So
amazing.
Yeah.
So I remember last year the crowd was chanting, like they did all the thunderous boos, chanting bullshit, refund, restart the match, AEW, and it was trending on social media for all the wrong reasons. Like, on Observer Radio, Meltzer was saying that the main event was perceived by WWE as a disaster, and that's an understatement. And quite frankly, it was one of the worst professional wrestling pay-per-views of all time. So, luckily we didn't have to go down that, road this year,
Yeah. This is a pay-per-view to where if you're a person that only cares about the matches that they care about and have promoted to you, to be the matches you're supposed to care about, then I would say the pay-per-view is a success. Because, 3 matches, all 3 of them at worst are good. One I think is great, regardless of what I think about the nonsense storytelling they told, and the other one is at worst good, regardless of how much I loathe how slow it was, and then the third one was a good solid match. I think it's wonky that Randy Orton wanted out to get the fuck out the cage, get away from McIntyre, was about to leave a title match. He was going to walk away from the title match and then decided at the very end, oh yeah, I did put a fucking thing up there, a lead pipe to whop this man with, but whatever. But yeah, the rest, everything else on that card, like Lashley versus T-Bar.
Yes.
Not T-Bar, Slapjack. The
like
Otis,
zero-star territory.
Otis in the Bank. What else is on that fucking card?
Elias and Jeff Hardy.
Yeah.
0-star wrestling.
The rest of that shit is garbage. But yeah, so let's go through it match by match. Roman Reigns, or Universal title match. Roman Reigns versus Jey Uso in a Hell in a Cell I Quit match.
I was into it. I liked their match last month better, I think. Because, we saw the format the first time. We see it the second time, it's not as effective, especially when, that Hell in a Cell is there and is goofy and is red and it's not like steel anymore. Like, the Hell in a Cell mystique is like completely gone to me at this point. So, it was cool that they spiced it up with the I Quit stipulation. Of course, they had to do some fuck shit, but I think they went way too heavy-handed on the melodrama this time. It was way too long. I felt like this match is way longer than the G1 final, and turns out it was 6 minutes shorter, which I don't like. Time, the sense of time must be broken or something, but this match seemed like it went forever. They should have chopped 15 minutes off of this, did less stalling and standing around, less, Shakespearean dialogue in between every thing. And of course, that's something they're trying. And I hope, the Tribal Chiefs matches don't tend to break this way all the time. But I was into it for a lot of it just because, you know, the story of it. I was there with them, but I just thought it went way too far past the point. It was like, you know, like a gumbo, right? Like in gumbo, they're adding all these different things to it. They're putting the chicken in there. They're putting the different meats. They're putting the rice. They're putting the everything. It was like, yo. And then you also, actually a better example. So you remember when you were like a little kid, right? And then you went to get your drink from the, you know, wherever you're at eating in public, and they've got that fountain where you have like the 20 flavors that you can pick out from. You got your Coke, you got your Sprite, you got your Pepsi, you got all those. But what this match did was hit the flavor button on all of them. Like they did so much to where by the time it was like, yo, this don't even taste right no more.
Nah, okay, so I get where you're going with your gumbo analogy, right? Like, I've seen people make goofy pops of gumbo, like where somebody puts in all the stuff that looks right? Like sausage and chicken and like, you know, some people will put crawfish or some type of crustacean in that bitch, right? Mm-hmm. You know, some people will throw beer in there. Some, you know, their, you know, Old Bay, their crab boil stuff or whatever else, onions, garlic, corn, full corn cobs. And then all of a sudden, like, I remember one time I was watching on TikTok, some goofy ass Louisianan put oranges in the fucking thing, and I was like, what? See, that's what I'm like, right? So your point is like, you can throw a bunch of shit at the wall, but all it takes is one thing to make people be like, all right, bro, this is beyond the pale. This is goofy now. You putting fruits in the fucking gumbo pot? Yeah, so I get what you mean.
Like, Johnny Gargano was upset he couldn't special ref this match and be like Shawn Michaels in the Hell in a Cell with Undertaker and Triple H, you know, taking bumps and being frightened and shit.
Okay, so
so much melodrama, like
yeah, definitely. If I were to tell you back in 2017 that they're going to eventually turn Roman Reigns heel, it's every bit as awesome as you thought it could be. And
I love the Tribal Chief.
And seemingly, the trade-off is he's going to have the bad Brock Lesnar matches. Except, instead of him suplexing somebody to oblivion, he talks and talks and talks. Would you take the trade-off?
Yes, quite frankly.
Okay.
Because I think his career, like, I think they, you know, they did that guy a disservice for a lot of years, and the fans a disservice for a lot of years by not leaning into this. And now they're 5 years too late on this. I think I sent a message to Finish. I was like, Roman Reigns is so fucking awesome. Why couldn't they have turned him like 4 years ago? He would be bigger than God right now. If like he could already be back, but no. I don't know. Like there were things. I think there was a lot to like about this match, and there was a lot to dislike about it at the same time.
This wasn't a bad match. Like, I don't want to. Yeah, I don't want to say that. Like, this was something that was, what were we talking about? Like, when we go through the Jericho and MJF, show tune thing, like, I'm not gonna shit on that saying that match or that thing either was, like, creatively bankrupt. Both of these things have a lot of good stuff in there. I would just say that, like, the repetitive nature falling off a pay-per-view match you did the week before, or the, was it 3, 4 weeks, 5 weeks before, and then you throw in, like, some of the presentation stuff that is not on them. Quite frankly, it is on the cameramen that are supposed to be out here, you know, trying to help these magicians, like, do the magic to where you kind of fall for the tricks. Like, when, for example, Roman Reigns has Jay sandwiched against the post, and you're like, oh, okay, he's got the, like, use still steps and hit the drive-by into his head, in theory, right? Like, hey, cameraman, how about you move so we don't see his fucking shoulder blocking the post, so we just know that, like, oh yeah, that's completely fake. Like, help them. That's your fucking job. What do you get paid for? So, like, this ain't totally on them. Like, these people are, like, these matches this match would have been better had, like, they had some competency around them from the production side. But,
like, I fully see a universe where, like, they do what you're talking about, trim up the camera work, they shorten it, they make it more compact,
right,
more hard hitting, and more, quite frankly, violent.
Right. That's the main, that's the main thing.
Where this is a match of the year candidate.
Right. Like, or just, you know, one of the best, very, very, very best matches of the year. Like, that's one of the things when it comes to these Roman matches so far is, like, quite frankly, if you watch any other wrestling aside from main roster WWE, I don't know how you buy the violence in these matches. Like, obviously like, to me, this match was just a drag until the fucking Indian strap gets pulled out.
The strap.
Like, yeah. Until the strapation starts happening, I'm just like, this is not.
So also, this? James, you made a point about the stipulation of this match. What was that again?
Oh, yeah. This was, I think, for the first time in, like, 7 years in WWE. Actually, I take that back. For the first time in, like, 6 years in WWE, we had ourselves a good old-fashioned slave match. Like, not since Nikki beat Brie Bella so that Brie Bella could be a slave for her sister for a month after Nikki screwed her at SummerSlam 2014. Have we had a match for somebody to be basically like they lose all agency over all of their decisions and actions for any amount of time? I did not know that how it was going down on the Isle of Samoa via Pensacola, Florida, but apparently they selling people into bondage. So I don't know. How did Rock get out? I don't
Rock might have to come back.
What is going on? Like, that's one of the clear things about this. Is like they're going so heavy-handed in this. That, like, I don't know if this actually is their actual plan, if they even thought about it, if they even thought this far out. But, like, where else is there to go for Roman except for eventually having a match with The Rock? If you don't know if you can ever even get The Rock ever again.
Right. I did like Alpha and Sika coming out. Essentially, like, well, they old, so obviously they just gonna head and ride with Roman, and it's okay that he done beat the hell out of Jay and Jimmy because, like, they ain't the ones that's leading the family. Like, nah, we ride with the big dog. Bro, when I saw them come out, I was like, that is brilliant. Like, that's something I would have done. I'm like, yo, get, like, his father out there, something. Like, at some point, you got to use them. But, yeah. Overall, I would have probably gave it, like, I don't know, like a 3.5 or 3.75. Like,
I think this one was given, like, 3 and 3/4. For me, it's just like, sorry. Like, I just... like, I sent you the picture of Takumi Ara's face after Mayu fucking blew it up. And I'm just like, I just finished, like, binging the G1. I'm just like, yo, this is not, you know, and I'm not supposed to, you know, obviously when you don't watch, something I've also come to realize, if you don't watch WWE often or enough to, at some of a regular basis, like,
that's become more of a struggle.
Their pacing,
now that I don't watch it,
their pacing just seems so just like it's in quicksand. Even people that can work, like, you know, like the ladder match from Night of Champions, the Daniel Bryan and AJ Styles match for the Intercontinental title months ago, like, matches that are even great in WWE, you're still at sometimes just like, yo, this is slow. If you do not watch WWE regularly. So, and I thought for, you know, the beginning of the match, like, they were going super slow, and I'm just like, You know, like, what does this mean for the future for Roman matches? Like, is this, obviously they're not going to be this, but like, I could see them being this pace, and if they're this pace, I see myself quickly being disinterested in, like, what Roman has to do, unless he's in there with somebody that I like, because these matches are super duper slow. And like, that's the crazy thing. And that's another thing I want to ask you, going back to 2017. If I were to tell you that Roman Reigns was going to have a feud with one of his Uso cousins, that these matches would be this slow, would you have fucking believed it?
Yeah,
that's another thing.
I would not.
Matches are slow as fuck. Like, these three people are great athletes. Why are these matches so not showcasing their athleticism? You know what I'm saying? It's
so
weird.
Much with the talking. It's WWE doing this. Like, if
these are cinematic matches that are happening live. These Roman matches so far. Like, I'm interested to see what happens when, like, all right, I'm done torturing my obviously inferior cousin. Time to wrestle somebody worth a damn. And like, I think there'll be some changes. Like, there's no way they're finna, you know, do all of this for just a pay-per-view match. Eventually he's going to have to actually wrestle. And obviously we know he can wrestle, but like, we want to see what he can do as what he's built himself up to be over the past few months, but against somebody worth a damn, so they can, you know, or kayfabe wise, so they can actually see what he is as a heel. That's what I'm waiting to see. So the longer we keep doing with these matches, the less I'm interested. I want to see it now, soon, please.
So they just announced for Survivor Series, it's like a bunch of champion versus champion shit. So it's gonna be Orton and Reigns now. Heel versus heel. Yeah. So, all right. So let's move on. So we
complained about pace.
Yeah, and now Roman, who he's going to wrestle.
And Roman is working slower than Orton does these days now. And now we're going to put it to the test. Oh, my God. They may as well put Orange Cassidy in the match. They want to wrestle slow. Shit.
Boy.
All right.
Then we got a singles match, Jeff Hardy and Elias. This is A1 grade 1 trash, 0 stars. Fuck off.
Hey, don't even say the term A1 in regards to this grade 1 in regards to this match. That's an insult to the G1. So,
bro, Elias has never improved ever, not once. I don't know why they think they want us to or why we want to watch him wrestle. Like, I don't care that y'all are releasing a music album by this man with these, you know, these generic ass songs. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I don't care. Like, you're calling this man a junkie. I'm sorry. I'm tired of hearing about how many drugs Jeff Hardy has done. Y'all have been there and done this forever.
No, okay, I get that part. But, like, can we just have Elias around so he can bang on Jeff Jarrett? Because he called that man a junkie on the pre-show from what I heard. And, you know, that's kind of stuff that's like...
Look... I will walk light. I will walk light. You know,
why is that?
You know, future owner of WWE, Jeff Jarrett. Will fire you. You know, when the day comes.
So, all right, man. Match was nothing. Jeff Hardy goes for a dive. Jeff Hardy whoops his ass. He goes to the top of the post, the big WWE post. He goes for a dive to the floor. Jeff Hardy moves out the way because he doesn't want to give the fans, or not Jeff Hardy, but Elias moves out the way because he doesn't want to give the fans anything that they want. Jeff Hardy gets down in frustration because he couldn't wreck his body even more. He goes out the ring to go get him. Elias grabs his guitar. Somehow he grabs the guitar, doesn't even get a chance to swing the shit. Actually, no, he goes to swing it. Jeff throws it, look at Jeff Hardy, look at Elias. Elias must got popcorn muscles. He wrestles the guitar from him and bashes that shit across Elias's back for the DQ. I think it went like 7 minutes, something like that. Anyway, I don't know what they do with that. I think this is also supposed to be like playing off of months ago when like Sheamus flamed Jeff Hardy for drunk driving and hitting Elias. So it's like, what? I don't know. So
this had to be on the pay-per-view for what reason?
The pay-per-view from Hell in a Cell.
Yikes. Oh, after that, we've got The Miz against Otis. So, another horrid, terrible match.
I don't know if this is a match that's horrid as much as a match that just nobody could possibly care about after watching I was gonna go back to the Roman match. Like, they did so many spots where Roman and Jay, like, made the other one pass out without quitting, to where it's like, why didn't they pull out the old, this person's passed out, I'm not done with you, go grab a water bottle from underneath the ring, wake them up with water, and continue torturing them until they quit. I figured that spot would have fit perfectly into that match and would have killed some of
they had plenty of time.
Disbelief. Right.
They could have cut out 2 or 3 of them paragraphs, that they was reading to each other of dialogue.
Stupid. But I'm saying, I feel like that spot works good for that story that they're telling, because they keep neither guy will concede to the other, so you have to go to that level of desperation to get to it. Like, my favorite spot, like the I Quit match, or I believe it was a I Quit match between Orton and Cena, where he canes him, or Orton canes Cena to death, he passes out, he wakes him up with the water. They could have just used that spot. Anyway, yeah, man, like, they have a TV match. Your boy Morrison keeps cheating on Miz's behalf. He gets tossed for cheating so much. The briefcase somehow ends up in Otis's hands. Otis is about to win. Otis is getting clobbered by the Money in the Bank briefcase by Tucker. Miz wins. They run off with like they stole something. They have an interview, Morrison and Miz in the back, about having the briefcase. In comes Tucker. Tucker says, I'm not doing this for you. He's not in cahoots with them. This is just to be some shit that just happened out of nowhere, which makes Tucker seem like dumb motherfucker alive. So this sets up where...
Also, they stepped on him too. Like, they had cut him off before he started talking, and it clearly made him look like minor league.
Right. Like, we know, like, we're pretty sure not gonna do nothing with Tucker. Tucker's on Raw, away from Otis, so so in theory, the only time Otis, either one of them even get any type of interaction will be, the next pay-per-view Survivor Series, which is like, you're gonna base a Survivor Series match around that. Okay. Mandy's on Raw, Miz is on Raw, Morrison's on Raw, Otis on SmackDown. So
this nigga Otis is having a rough life.
So
they took his briefcase too.
Yeah. So check this out, right? At literally a week after having this draft, how long before Otis ends up on Raw? Because you know that's what they're going to do.
Shit, he might be there tonight.
Right. Of course. We're in the middle of this. Right now it's 10:18 p.m. on the East Coast, so like we're in the middle of Raw. For all we know, Otis has already showed up.
Like, Otis and buzz his man head to the white meat and then did the caterpillar next to him, backstage. Right,
especially because, like, Otis was on Raw last week underneath a fucking luchador mask. So...
Oh, like, yeah. We didn't even... Yeah, good thing we didn't cover Raw.
La Luchadoro. Remember Luchadora? Luchadoro.
Yes.
Yeah, so...
Yes. So I'm glad they got the briefcase off this joke. And, I mean, The Miz has it.
That's my point. They took it off... They have it on a comedy, babyface, lower mid-card person, and they decided, no, that makes no sense. Let's put it on The Miz, a mid-card heel, when we have Randy Orton and the Tribal Chief Roman Reigns as the champions. What?
Bro.
This is, you know what this is like?
You're asking me to figure out the booking of this company. I cannot figure it out. Look, apparently Vince McMahon and Bruce Pritchard are ahead of us all, James. Bro. Like, these boys are playing 4D chess, and they're so far in front of us that like there's no way for us to process this.
This is similar to, like, I'm trying to think of the perfect example.
I thought Miz was gonna win the title that night. That was the only thing but since he didn't win it last night, I don't know what the fuck they're doing.
This is like if in the MCU, in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, they pulled out the Vulture, a Spider-Man nemesis, an elderly man with flying tech that steals stuff, right? And he is going to try to get one over on Thanos for the Infinity Gauntlet. Get the fuck out of here. That's what this is like. It's like, you gonna try Randy Orton?
I don't know, man.
You gonna try Randy Orton? Randy Orton.
He done did it before.
When Randy Orton
shout out to Rich Craze Voice to Wrestling.
Randy Orton was a
shout out to Rich
baby
Fritz,
face.
Voice of Wrestling. October 25th, 2010.
Yeah.
October 25th, 2010. Randy Orton, the WWE Champion. The Miz, Mr. Money in Bank. WWE. It never changes.
Yeah. Randy Orton was a babyface at the time. Now, they're shooting at the same rim right now. And one person is out here dunking while the Miz is, throwing up 8-footers off the back shoulder. It's like, nah, man, these aren't the same things. There are different levels to this. Like, maybe this was a similar situation to like the Cody and Brody thing, to where, all right, we'll get the belt off of you. Hopefully, or maybe we're waiting till we get fans. We'll give you the belt when we get fans, and then we'll cash in. Like, fuck you.
Probably. And you'll have an opponent then. I'm like, that doesn't make sense. Like,
Exactly.
I'm supposed to have another run. Fuck that.
Right, but that'll be like, we'll sing and chasing again. It's like, haven't you killed every babyface the last half decade with this chase shit? Like, the chase for goals is being a chase for shit.
Yeah.
Whatever.
We'll get to Drew later, but
what's next?
Up next, we had Sasha Banks defeating Bayley for the SmackDown Women's title. Universally pretty well received match.
Yeah. It's a great match.
I just wasn't into it.
Yeah. Because you've seen what they've done to them over the last 2 years.
I just couldn't care.
So stupid. Right. That doesn't bother me as much as it bothers you. However, the story that Bayley is such a fucking idiot, that she's so sentimental, that she must destroy Sasha with this one chair. But in the process of this match, they use damn near 5 other, I'll say 3 other chairs. And then it comes down to this one fucking chair that she had to go out the ring and get separation from Sasha, give her time.
Like, they were trying so hard for the symbolism and shit. Like,
that's not symbolism.
Man, just do the fucking match.
That's not symbolism. You want to know what symbolism with a chair in a Hell in a Cell is?
What?
The very first Hell in a Cell match between Shawn Michaels and Undertaker. Shawn Michaels was a guest ref in a Bret Hart versus Undertaker SummerSlam match in '97.
Yeah.
Shawn and Bret hate each other. Bret spits on Shawn. Shawn loads the chair up to go crack Bret. Bret moves. Undertaker's behind. He cracks Undertaker. The rule was if Shawn screwed Bret, he would have to quit WWE, which is laughable. So he ends up awarding the match via pinfall to Bret. Then Undertaker is pissed, obviously, at Shawn. Shawn says, "Hey man, I didn't mean to do that. It was clearly meant for Bret." Over time, Shawn eventually cracks Undertaker with a chair, and that sets up Hell in a Cell. That match is Shawn gets his ass whipped by the Undertaker from pillar to post. There's nowhere for him to go. He ends up getting thrown around so much he ends up hitting a cameraman. It takes out a cameraman. They have to get the cameraman out, get him medical treatment. They open up the cage. Shawn escapes to get away from that fucking bear. He has nowhere to go. He's trapped. He climbs up to get away from the fucking bear until he realizes, oh my god, the fucking bear can climb the tree as well. Goes up the cage. It's like, I gotta get the fuck away from this bear. Climbs back down the tree. Gets halfway there. Gets caught by Undertaker. Undertaker stomps his hands while he's hanging from the edge of the cell. Falls off the table. End up back in the ring. Undertaker grabs a chair after he got fucked for 2 months by Shawn Michaels with a chair. Cracks him over the head. And then Kane comes out. That is symbolism with a weapon, in Sweet Justice. This where there's 5 fucking chairs. I need to hit you with this one chair that I spray painted.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Nah. That's
then
goofy.
their weapons were breaking as they were trying to set up their stuff. Like,
yeah, I mean,
it was like,
yeah, that was,
I mean,
anyway,
that could happen to anybody, but
right.
I don't know. I'm just over it, like, with these two. But, a lot of the stuff they did was cool. Like, they did a lot of, like, cool looking spots. But, yeah, I just didn't feel it.
So, for me, I said all of that. but I'm going to give this match praise. These women beat the shit out of each other. These women took a lot of the things that Sasha did with Becky in last year's Hell in a Cell match with kendo stick weaponry and added more to it, or not added more to it, but took off from that as inspiration. And it was a lot of cool stuff. I think one thing that was kind of goofy was when they did the suspended kendo stick between the ring and the cage, and then there's a drop toe hold where Sasha goes through a kendo stick. She cracks a kendo stick and then cracks the steel steps. And I'm thinking, I was like, okay, so the kendo stick is more damaging than the steel steps? What? But whatever. I'm not even gonna hit on that part. The story of the match sucks. The violence and the spots they did were cool. I would give this match 4 to 4.25. Just off the strength of what they did with that match. The story, the internal logic of the story stinks, but whatever. It was the best match of the night. It's one of the best matches in main roster WWE this entire year. Even with all that.
Yeah, so Sasha's the champion, and I'm trying to think who the champion is on Raw. It's Asuka, right?
Correct, Mundo.
Okay. So maybe they do a match at Survivor Series. I haven't seen it announced yet. As I said, we're recording this during Raw, but
so that would be
it's a good thing for Sasha. Like oh my god, and this one might even have another terrible finish because now they're both champions and neither one of them should lose. Man, fuck off.
I mean, they do.
Oh my god,
we're at a point now to where, I understand it's been the format since 2016, but they don't have to do brand versus brand.
True.
I mean, if it comes down to it, especially given that, what happened last year, and where we are with, there not being to my knowledge, a takeover on Survivor Series weekend, I could see them doing the, brand versus brand again. I can see that.
I have no indication that NXT is involved thus far, but I mean, we'll wait till Wednesday, I guess.
Which is weird because you figure they'd be dying to do that because all they do is fuck with AEW all the time.
So if you're a Sasha Banks fan, do you want the match with Asuka next month so you know that belt isn't on the line? Or do you want her to fight Carmella, who's just got a new gimmick? Who's the heel on SmackDown?
Isn't her gimmick basically what we thought Emelina was going to be?
Emelina.
Right. Okay, so I mean,
Sasha looking like a sweet lick immediately went to come off that belt.
I wouldn't say that. She's not going to lose the belt to Emelina. Or not Emelina, I'm sorry, Carmella. Nah, that's not going to happen. We've seen Carmella as SmackDown Women's Champion. That shit fucking sucked. They're not gonna. I don't think they're dumb enough to do that again. They're dumb to do a lot of dumb things, but I don't think they're that damn dumb. Look, we ain't seen. When's the last time we seen Jinder?
Injury.
Okay, even before he was injured, that man was out here doing.
They were about to get that man a push. All right, check this out.
Weren't.
Yes, he was. So
he was about to get squashed by McIntyre. He wasn't actually going to have he wasn't going to beat McIntyre.
He was going to have a pay-per-view match with him and beat a bunch of people along the way. But he tore his ACL or something like that. So hopefully they didn't get there.
Though. That's fine.
Look, we hope.
Think of all the bail they gave McIntyre from SummerSlam to now against Orton for him to finally lose it now. And man had to fall off the cage to get beaten. You think he's gonna lose to Jinder Mahal? Nah, man.
They've done dumber shit.
You know what? That's fair.
Up next, we got Bobby Lashley versus Slapjack. 0 stars.
A 3-minute nothing match. At the end, he ends up getting the full Nelson on him, and then all of a sudden, Retribution comes out and attacks Lashley. They whoop on him. Then half-heartedly, the rest of what is the name of MVP's faction?
The Hurt Business.
The Hurt Business half actually come down to the ring. And by the time they get to the bottom of the ramp, Lashley's already made a comeback for himself. It's like, yeesh, Retribution. What did you do? What did you do to deserve this?
Look, and Mustafa Ali is running and all this other stuff. Like, so this is Vince telling you, this Antifa stuff. Those guys are punks. Those Antifas, and we're gonna have the black guys beat them up. So
which is also is like
it's all fucking warped.
It makes no sense. Like
it's all fucking warped.
It makes no sense. So like Antifa are geeks, but like never mind. I'm not even getting to it. This is fake Antifa for Vince, and then it's like so they're not like instead of, they're fighting each other as opposed to being like all in cahoots. That's weird. Whatever. Move.
Yeah.
Whatever, Vince. I don't know what the fuck's going on in your brain.
So up next, we got the main event. Randy Orton defeating Drew McIntyre for the championship to win his 14th WWE title in a Hell in a Cell match. This is very long, kind of just there. Randy Orton's the fucking champion again. Ugh. Such a step backwards. So uninspired. What year is this? And then, supposedly the long-term direction is Edge. Like, Edge and Orton for the champ. Come on, man. Don't nobody want to see this shit. Like,
that is not true. People want to see Edge win back the title he never lost and had to give up, or one of the titles he never lost and had to give up because of the neck. Like, that is going to be a thing. Or at least let me rephrase that. That's the thing they think, or something that they're going to believe people want, and then it's like, well, how come Edge has never, popped the rating in the way that, these legends that used to return did? And I don't know if that's necessarily a thing about Edge as much as it's like, oh yeah, WrestleMania season was just completely hampered by the pandemic. But then again, you also it's like, all right, well, the next night after Royal Rumble, he still didn't pop a number. So it's like, whatever. They paying him $5 million, whatever ridiculous amount of money they are. Of course, they think he's going to be, their answer because they have no choice but to believe that. They gave him the money to believe that, so they have turned themselves into marks. Whatever. If they go out here and they record a match like they did for the greatest match ever, fine, because that match was fire, even if it was recorded. But if they want to go out here and have their WrestleMania match where they hit each other with a bunch of shit, that's not the way. So
did they not want to do McIntyre versus Reigns that bad to where Orton had to hold this fucker now?
Well, I mean, they've already done that match.
They did that. It might as well be another universe ago. Both of these guys are complete. Drew McIntyre is no longer tougher than cancer.
But that's another thing about it. Why would you want to do that match? Would be like, okay, so we're gonna have a match where this guy is a heel and he's an asshole, he's awesome, versus babyface that literally a year ago said he was tougher than this fucker's cancer. What? I don't want to watch that match. I never want to see them in the ring together again after that nonsense.
Look, well, I definitely don't want to see Randy Orton versus the Tribal Chief in the slowest match possible. My fucking God.
Look, I think, was the last match they've had, singles match was Survivor or SummerSlam 2014?
Possibly.
Alright, this is, stuff like this is why I think, something's going, a shoe is going to drop, a lever is going to be pulled, and this is not going to be the actual matchups. Cause it's but then again, it's can't put in Finn Balor because he has a broken fucking jaw. You don't know when he's going to be able to return anyway. So, who knows what the fuck they do? They're all screwed up. Shocker. WWE, all screwed up.
I just don't get it. I saw the RKO finish. I was like, what?
Okay, so
what?
I thought what was going to happen was rolls into the ring, gets set up for the Claymore. He was either going to dodge out the way, go hit the RKO, near fall, kick out at 2, punts him, wins. They just beat him off the RKO. So, whatever. I still thought Orton was going to win after the way that whole match went. So for me, especially when it went on last, it's like, oh, okay. There was no reason for this to go last other than for a title change.
like I thought McIntyre was winning the whole time.
I thought he was taking an L. Like I just did. Like watching the match, like because they're shooting him bells. Like, well, he fell, and then like he gets beaten in the side of Hell in a Cell, and then like he's up there standing, staring darts through Orton in fury because he lost, and it's like this isn't over. Like, I'm not saying they're going to immediately have a rematch, like, in the next, like, month or even at TLC, but, like, this isn't over. I could see them eventually have another title match at, like, Royal Rumble or something like that.
They better do something, because, like,
because you also think of it like this, right? There's also, well, it kind of gets screwy because of, Lashley with that and Lashley with the US title, but like they're still. I mean, they never settled the McIntyre and Lashley shit from earlier in the year, so like they can go back to that if they wanted to. That when they send McIntyre side questing for now, so there's stuff.
Yeah, I think
like
Drew McIntyre deserves a lot of credit for everything he did this year. They actually brought up the point that he hadn't taken a pinfall before that tag match last week in like a calendar year. So remember when WWE tries to tell you wins and losses don't matter?
Right.
It's bullshit.
Right.
This guy took a lot of like protection, and then he was a dude that reinvented himself all the way, went to the independent circuit, came back through NXT, got protected a bunch of times. Of course, they started doing those things where they would pull him off camera while shit was happening. Like, they did all this goofy stuff for him. And
where was McIntyre? Oh, he was in Gorilla when his teammate got pinned.
Yeah, like he was out of here. He was heading to the next town.
Yes. Like that man went one of them Moxley walks where it's like, I gotta get to the next town. I'm
out of here, brother.
Vegas to Jacksonville. I'm gone.
Yes. But yeah, this guy, like, he was a champion all throughout the pandemic so far, and you kind of feel for him because, like, you watch his interviews. He's a good guy, and he's someone you want to root for. And I think he was a awesome babyface champion. And times where you don't always get that.
Right, tries hard every night you ever watch him. He did one of the really hard things in WWE, like a thing that like I don't think has been done since like peak AJ in WWE. Was like, go over 6 months on pay-per-view, you'll never have a bad match. Like, that is super hard. Like, so, like, I feel a lot of the things you do about just like, yeah, man, like, he got a rough end of it, like, the pandemic fucked him over. Raw, like, just being this dead show where, like, nobody, or really the main roster being this dead show where outside of, like, 3 acts ever feel dynamic, like, at a time. Like, it's
look, and they didn't give him no one under 40 years old to wrestle against throughout his whole title reign. Like,
that's another part of that too.
Yeah. But
also think of it like this, right?
Hopefully he gets it back one day. But
is McIntyre going to be, given where we are, given what the landscape is McIntyre going to be like the last guy that's quote unquote made that's, not like approaching 40?
Huh. Yeah, I mean, like McIntyre's 35,
right? Which is still, that's not young, right? Like it was a line, like what was the line that doing one of the mini lines that Roman said? He's like, him and Jay was like, we're 35 years old. I was like, why would you say that?
Yeah.
I know you're 35. Why would you let us know you're 35? But yeah, just like, yeah, bro, like you look at how they book everybody that comes up from NXT is fucked up except for literally McIntyre in Charlotte.
I wonder why.
Right? And it's like,
this man's name was the Chosen One, James.
Right.
Not Jeff Jarrett, but Drew McIntyre a long time ago. He was, right.
It was
earmarked.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is really just like, you look at their landscape of everybody that Triple H has gotten over to a certain extent on the you know, basically in college, right? Like, that was one of the things that's so funny is like, I'm probably just wrong for framing it this way, but you look at like what the one and done rule did for the NBA as far as putting those kids in college for 1 year, whether it was a Kevin Durant or a Beasley or a Derrick Rose or Zion, and the hype that built up for those kids as a star making machine for their 1 year in college to get them to the NBA with fanfare as opposed to being some kid they never fucking heard of before, right? Like, that should be what NXT should be for the main roster. And they fucked everybody up except for like a handful of people over the last 6 years. It's amazing.
They fucked everyone up, and then like NXT changed. So like to where you couldn't just be a one and done. You have niggas out there being NXT for life. And then
Literally. That was a t-shirt. NXT for life with Gargano was a t-shirt.
Oh my god.
You don't remember that?
No, I don't.
Yes, that was like a t-shirt from like the fall of 2019. NXT for life.
How lame could one be? Like, you know, hey, I don't want more.
Think like this, right? How many Gargano shirts have you seen me with? I've bought 3, right? I got the shirt in New York when he won the title. I got the red one. I also bought the black Johnny Takeover shirt. Have you ever seen me with a fucking NXT for life shirt? No. Fuck no. Actually, no. I even got a Gargano shirt. I got that the Rebel Heart black or red heart shirt too with the blood dripping. Yeah, I ain't got no fucking NXT for life shirt. Fuck no.
It'd be a little stretch getting me to wear a shirt that says Rebel Heart on it, but you know, I'll let that slide. So
Are you confusing Rebel Heart with just Rebels period? That's what you're doing. That's not what that shirt is.
Yeah, you know, it's like, you know, it's too close.
Nah, trust me. If it was close, I wouldn't have bought no damn Rebel shirt. Trust me. I see, unlike you, I've lived here my whole life in the South. Nah, I'm not fucking with no Rebel, anything. So, yeah, man. That nigga Gargano is from Cleveland, Ohio.
What does that mean?
Huh?
What does that mean?
Look,
that tells us nothing.
No. If that man was Cameron Grimes with a Rebel Heart t-shirt, I'm not buying that shirt. They hit different.
All right. Remember who is? No, look. I'm gonna save this.
I know it's one of them off-brand flags. I know that. I am very aware. We ain't gotta talk in code. They know exactly what the fuck we mean. No, look, those are two different things.
I was talking to you off air about this.
Johnny Gargano's gimmick has never been a Confederate traitor ass shirt. Fuck no. All right, so where were we? We were talking about this pay-per-view, but where were we on the card?
We were just finishing the main event.
Yeah, that's right. Like the match.
I hear a 3 1/4. I don't know. Fuck.
It's like a 3.5. It's 3 1/4ish. Like, I wouldn't recommend it. Like, it's a 30-minute match. Like, mostly, like, I wouldn't recommend the Roman match either. So it's like, you know, that's kind of where I'm is like. The 3 matches all succeeded to some level. They were all too long. But then again, it's like, you look at what the rest of this card is, it's like, well, shit, maybe they should go 40 minutes and have only 3 matches. So, you know, whatever. It's a weird show. Like, I can see people all over the place saying it's either a good show or a bad show. And ultimately, I'd be like, okay, cool. Cause it was all over the place. There were things to like, there were things to hate.
Yeah.
Which is crazy because, like, I say that and it's like, that's probably like the 3rd best pay-per-view of the year for WWE.
Christ.
3rd or 4th, like SummerSlam, Royal Rumble. What else? Night 1 of WrestleMania, I guess.
Yeah, people like that.
I remember it was Night. Let's see, Night of Champions. That was pay-per-view from like 5 weeks ago. I don't even remember.
I remember nothing but the Tribal Chief.
I remember that match. Oh yeah, the ambulance match with
Oh yeah. With all the legends.
Yeah, and that brings me forward with the Orton thing. Is like, this was coming, bro. Between the backslide at SummerSlam, Orton was doing jobs, but he wasn't getting beat. He wasn't getting finished. Like when I go through Stardom tournament results or the G1, like I was writing my thing, like I write down specifically, was somebody rolled up or were they finished? Like hit with a finisher or pinned to the mat, or were they like, oh, he got caught in a small package, or a Lamar Strong cradled and suckered? Like WWE, that's what they go with. Like, oh, you beat him. It's like, oh, okay. Like Randy Orton got snuck by Keith Lee. He got snuck by McIntyre at SummerSlam with a backslide. Like 4 people came out there and interfered in the ambulance match, and then ultimately at the end he ended up winning. It's like they were shooting Orton all this bail, all this time for him to eventually get to this point, and he wins the belt. I'm not saying that he should be the champion, and year 18 for him.
Yes.
No, I'm not saying that at all. But what I would say is, like, if you are someone that is upset that they've gone with Randy Orton, I would say I would bang on, you believe that Drew McIntyre should not have lost the belt at this time, which is something you can buy into. But if your thing is like, I don't want Randy Orton because there are so many better options, where? Look at him. Like, who you want to pull up? What you want to go with? Braun Strowman?
This is also a function of like this company being terrible and making new people. Like, so they lean on this guy that has been around forever, who they've always picked, like who they've always like told us how great he was, but we never really saw it. Like, it's just this whole.
I agree with all
it's
you
an
saying.
indictment of their system.
Absolutely, right. What I'm saying, and I'm not even gonna. I'm not disagreeing with that. What I'm saying is from the perspective of, you believe in the people that have the best programs, the best matches, the best program, put out the best hit rate of TV when they're on TV. Randy Orton this year in particular, given how bad this year has been creatively, he's one of the few bright spots in the company. Or let me phrase that, not the company, in the brands. So it's like, all right, if you say that Randy Orton, given this year, given the promos he's had, the matches he's had, even when they've been taped, doesn't merit, then it's like, if not him can be somebody that can be a champion, then who on Raw? Braun Strowman? The Fiend? Otis? Not Otis, but Miz this year? Miz had an awful year this year. Ricochet, Andrade, Garza,
all these people that they've given up on,
right? Or
imagine,
that bad TV.
Look, imagine if they didn't give up on them. Imagine if they shot them some type of bail. Imagine if they didn't pull the plug on them after 3 weeks. Imagine. So
here's what I would say for Imagine. Imagine if they weren't dumbasses and re-signed. They could be somewhere else.
Yeah.
Nah, because when they sign, most of them when they sign, they're on the pandemic. They took the money. It is what it is. They getting paid. So I'm happy that they'll be able to secure their future, and they're in spots where like they're not on TV, so they ain't got to throw their heads at the ground right now, so they can heal up or whatever else they need to do. But when it comes time for them to make these decisions again, either they've sat enough money to where they can quit, or they're gonna re-up some more, or whatever. And I'm happy for them whatever decision they choose. But I'm not out here, I'm not out here, feeling down on them. They made choices. That's what it comes down to. So it is what it is. Like, obviously, yes, WWE should be better at booking this shit. They've been doing it for Vince shit
longer than anybody.
Right. So You know, maybe they're waiting out. Maybe they're waiting out a different clock. And we can move on from there.
Oh man. So yeah, I guess we can go to AEW Dynamite. We'll take the plane down to Jacksonville. So opener, we had the first round match in the World Title Eliminator Tournament. We had the War Dog, Big Low, Wardlow, against against the Jungle Boy, and this was awesome.
This is a good ass match.
This was, fire. Anytime Jungle Boy and Wardlow got together so far, it's been awesome. If you guys remember Fyter Fest, they were in that tag match. Right? Yeah, with MJF and Luchasaurus. Great classic big man, small man match, and Wardlow continues to show he's no stiff. I think this guy's a future world champion. I think sky's the limit for this dude.
I still don't think he can troubleshoot a match if anything ever goes wrong, but luckily they've set up these matches where nothing has gone wrong yet, so we don't need to ever find that out. We haven't needed to find that out yet. So good. So that's been a success. Like, the job isn't he needs to learn how to work. The job is have a match to where he don't have to if he can't.
Right. And you put him in there with somebody that can work, like like the Jungle Boy, in that certain environment, him and Cody in that cage match. It was like just a perfect scenario for him. You set the people up you lower the rim for them.
The lumberjack match, like the fifth lumberjack match, the fifth good lumberjack match has ever existed when it was him and Luchasaurus.
Yeah. Yeah. I like this
kills
match.
People.
Yep. And
look, we was talking about batting averages earlier, right? As far as the main roster, who in AEW has a better batting average than Wardlow? That man is like
every time he's on.
That man's like 10 for 10 or some shit.
Yeah. Remember when he debuted? Had the big debut. Remember he did the one whipping. The one whip on Cody. So like I remember popping when he did the F10 to Jungle Boy from the outside into the ring. Just a cool visual. But yeah, Wardlow moves on, and you can kind of see how the tournament's going to play out a little bit. After that, the announcers previewed the rest of the card. They showed a promo that Eddie Kingston cut on Moxley after the show went off last week on Dynamite. Apparently there's been some timing issues where they were running a couple minutes long, so that was actually supposed to be on the show, but they did the smart thing, just kept cameras rolling, caught it, and just played it this week.
It was damn good. I forgot the contents of it. I remember
he talked about Moxley. He was making millions of dollars in the land of entertainers while leaving Kingston behind.
You left us.
You left us. Kingston said he would die for pro wrestling. He's going to make Moxley quit.
That is so ridiculous, but it's like, this is awesome, but it's ridiculous. I'll die for pro wrestling. What? You take your ass the fuck on. UBS is hiring.
This fucked up business, Then they played a Moxley pre-tape responding to that immediately, and he said he's not going to apologize for making enough money to buy his mom a house. He promised to beat Kingston so bad that he's going to either get his friend back or he's going to beat him into submission. That's a hell of a concept, for a babyface. I'm going to beat the shit out of you until I have my friend back.
I love this.
Until we're friends again.
Yeah, look, another stand-up double for Moxley.
What a concept! That's
these three promos. Well, I'll wait till what I have to say until
the first hour of this fucking show
was incredible. Jesus Christ! It might be my favorite first hour stretch of Dynamite history. It might be. It was just incredible.
And then I think we got the best thing up next.
Yeah.
It was time, for Kenny Omega versus Sonny Kiss. Sonny Kiss came out, did his entrance. Sonny Kiss normally, the big elaborate entrance usually leaves his opponents kind of thrown off a little bit.
Can't get the Jaguar cheerleaders in this time. Pandemic.
So he came out, did his thing, and then all of a sudden, the music, the lights got low, like 2P.
Oh God.
then we started seeing some video playing, and then Justin Roberts was like, now introducing the AAA Mega Champion, the PWI Wrestler of the Year in 2018
Wrestler of the Year, or
the Wrestling Observer Wrestler of the Year. Yep. He has broken the Meltzer star scale 7 times. He's like, bro, he runs down like 5 or 6 more things, and he's like, he has once performed in North Carolina. Go ahead and raise up. I loved all of this, just because I know it's getting the right people upset, and it just felt amazing. Like no, I was like, oh, so while this whole time, it seemed like Kenny Omega didn't know how to present himself on national television. Apparently, that was not the case at all. The funniest thing that during all this, pretty much when he got in the ring, he showed his record, and his record was like 30-10. It was like most wins in the promotion. I'm like, they've been putting it in front of you the whole fucking time, you jackasses. Like, when I saw, the entrance, we'll go back to that part. They brought the broom girls out. They were dancing. They had a different set of music. They had the big silhouette. He walks out, battle cry, and this entrance was just like, it was just fire all the way. Like, it was just like so douchey, so like just I'm a star, fuck you niggas. Like I've been watching Cody do these shits for like a year, and I've been this good soldier for a year, and doing everything, quote unquote. And then when you think about it, I'm like, they've protected this man insanely. When's the last time Kenny's gotten pinned?
Pinned?
I'm willing to say he has
Moxley.
Not. Right. I'm willing to say he has not dropped a fall this year. I might have to look that up, right?
Well, he didn't. How did Pac get the pin on him?
That was last year.
No, that was January or February, actually.
No, he got a. Okay, yeah, he did. He lost a fall in the Iron Man match.
No, but like, if I remember correctly, it wasn't a clean one, right? Because remember, Pac got Kenny a fall by taking the DQ off a chair shot, and I'm pretty sure, or not pretty sure, but
I think it was a Black Arrow.
Was it? Okay, all right. I
think it was a Black Arrow.
But either way, it's fucking February. We're in November. We're damn near in November now.
Right. So, what would you think of this entrance?
I thought it was funny. I didn't think it was necessarily big league. I thought it was just like him getting over that he's an asshole. Which is like, that's the point, so I'm fine with it. But as far as killer interests, I didn't think there's like a killer interest. Like, this wasn't like something that you go out to, a AEW pay-per-view main event for, or like, this wasn't like Jericho with the Choir, or like Cody entrance, or Okada with whatever gigantic projection things he had, like at Wrestle Kingdom with the glow in the dark jacket. But it was clearly, the point was to get heat by annoying the fuck out of you with his like goofy critical acclaim, which is like, that's the point. So it did what it's supposed to do. As far as the women with the brooms, I really didn't care one way or the other. But like, the silhouette thing was cool. I like, if he were to actually try to do a real legitimate entrance for a pay-per-view with that, I thought that was cool. But like, everything after that was pretty much like generally his regular entrance once, his music played. So, yeah.
Garage just popped. It was just so funny.
I thought the whole thing with the Roberts thing was what was the thing that was actually it for me, because that was the thing. It was like, all the stuff of he's done X, Y, Z in the third. Yeah, so that I thought like that was what they were going for. And then like after the squash, you're just like, oh, okay, it's exactly what I thought it was. I was like, very good. Let's go, like, Yeah, for what, like not a year, close to a year, I'm like, hey man, fuck this tag team shit. Like, can we unleash Kenny Omega, please? Like, my favorite match in AEW this year was Iron Man match with him and Pac. Like, so it's like, I would like to see more of those. Like, the tag matches, they're great tag matches. Like, I didn't like, get into AEW off the strength of Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks and whoever else, just see Kenny Omega tag team matches. Get that, like, that's cool that he decided to do that for the side quest for a year. Can we bring back, like, the singles wrestler, please? So, yeah, I'm happy that, like, wherever we're headed is where we are, and he's a singles. So, that's my perspective.
Boy. And some of the fallout on this, people were not happy about Sonny Kiss getting this whooping, and also this was originally supposed to be Joey Janela in this match. So yeah. Joey Janela was around somebody. He got pulled at the last minute.
Yeah, because he came into contact with someone that came up COVID positive, and they were worried about trying to curb spread.
Right.
Yeah.
So which is what we knew about the day of the show, right? I think like 2 days before the show.
Yeah, maybe even that far. But I found out like earlier in the day. So for me, it was like, okay, that makes sense. Sonny Kiss, it's tag partner, and then people brought up concerns that like they squash Sonny Kiss, or Sonny Kiss should not be squashed because he's gay. And I'm like, wait, what?
I'm like, what? He can't lose no matches now? Like he can't get squashed? Like, so for me, I'm thankful that these people don't book pro wrestling. I'm not really thankful.
Oh, here's the thing. I'm not upset with them, but I ultimately think what they thought was, is AEW, they rarely do squashes unless you're Marco Stunt, or you're somebody that is bought from the Florida Indies. They rarely do squashes, so people, once they found out that Janela got moved aside, they were really into wanting to see, the flippy dude that Sonny Kiss is versus Omega, which is like, be quite honest, if you had my choice of squashing Kiss or him having a real match, I would like to see that match eventually. So I can see how people could be upset with it, but as far as saying like, I think what happened is people were so set to see a real match for this dude that they're rooting for, and then for him to get squashed, it turned into them going to say like, this is bullshit, but they're saying it's bullshit for what ultimately is the wrong reason. Like, yes, Sonny Kiss can do fucking jobs. I'm sorry. Like, if think of people that do jobs on the show, people that even squashed on the show. Like,
you know who was doing jobs not that long ago on the show? Will Hobbs.
Right.
He was losing 3 minutes to Darby Allin.
Right.
Like, it'll come back around, for one.
I think eventually they'll get back to the match. And ultimately, it's like, look, after seeing that, believe what you want or whatever else. I believe Janela was getting that same squashing.
I think you make a solid point.
So for me, I don't think like, oh, Sonny Kiss. Nah, hell no. Like, of course, like, they've had Sonny Kiss on their show a million times. I don't believe there's reason for them to be like, oh, all of a sudden they've like lost whatever they believed in Sonny Kiss before, so they're gonna get him the fuck out of there. Nah, man, like, this wasn't about Sonny Kiss. This was about Kenny Omega.
This was about reestablishing Kenny Omega and then making sure you have a superstar money drawing person for pay-per-view main events for the end of this year and all through 2021.
Well, ultimately,
you have that anyway, right?
Yeah. Like, if they had a 15 minute match, like, that still was going to be there anyway, right? So, for me, it's like, I'm not going to kill anybody that was upset and believes that, like, or that was upset because their minds were set on they were going to have a match to try to showcase Kiss now that Janela got moved aside, and then, like, they didn't get that, so they're like, damn, well, it's AEW, y'all don't do this normally, so what the fuck's going on? But, like, as far as people going as far as they have, I think that's a step too far, and that's where I'm leaving that. Like, cause I don't, the people that think whatever they think in a negative terms for AEW as far as Kiss's sexuality, I I believe they're working in bad faith, so I'm not really finna engage with them. Like, the people that are going super hard with it, because you also see some of the same accounts that, like, are anti-AEW. Right. Like, you already know what it is, right? Like, the folks that are like, a lot of the people that I happen to see don't rock with AEW anyway, so it's like, oh, this is another thing for y'all to shit on. So it's like, okay, I don't really care what your opinion is on it. Like, y'all working in bad faith anyway. Y'all don't like them, so y'all grasping this thing that y'all know that's like, alright, like, so what wrestling do you like?
Because
the wrestling and I say that rhetorically because I know the wrestling you like, and the wrestling you like is a lot less inclusive, if you will, right? Like, they got Jake Atlas out here, is an proudly gay man. You watch his show, you don't even fucking know that. He already talking about being different. How's he different? They never describe it. Remember we were doing the show months ago, and I was like, he was talking about some shit that made no sense. You were like, oh, he's opening again. I was like, oh,
yeah.
So that's not even to bring up the AEW versus WWE thing, but just like,
it's real interesting to people that are upset about AEW heels. Like, it's like, all right, what y'all got on the Rubik's Cube next? Like, like which way y'all gonna turn this? Okay,
yeah, as far as I get heels is like, heels is a fan club. Is like, obviously, like, look, AEW can have the NXT women's division and still have a fan club, and I wouldn't have a problem with it. Like, you saying that they book poorly, therefore they should have a fan club. Like, I'm sorry, I thought they were doing this to make money. My bad. Like, like, it's one of those things. Like,
hey, and ultimately,
we've digressed far down the line of this, but like, getting back to the
ultimately, this is about Kenny Omega. This is not about Sonny Kiss,
right? And it's like, look, man. If they get back to it eventually and they have a match, I want to see the match. Like, I want to see this flippy dude here wrestle Kenny Omega eventually and go, over 8 minutes. I want to see that. But like, so like, for me, like, I'm not killing the people that got upset by it, because like, I understand, like, if you're somebody that is rooting for this dude and he gets squashed, how that can make you feel, because like, ultimately, I want to see that same match. So I get it, but like, I feel people have gone a step or two too far with it, and that's just me.
It's only the beginning, James. And then Kenny, when he said he walked over, or excuse me, when he was making his way to the ring, he looked at the camera and was like, "Y'all wanted this." Like, it's only getting started.
No, another part that's funny for me was you talked about the face, but like, after he just squashed
him. Oh, yes. He made the face. Yes.
He made the face after he squashed him. He hit it with the V trigger. And then
hit the fuck out my ring.
Lonely Angel made the face after winning. And then, like, he helped him up and then shook his hand or whatever else. Like, good job, sport. And you know what that reminded me of? Do you remember the Dave Chappelle Prince skits? How Chappelle was dressed up as Prince and he was like slapping dudes on the butt, talking about good game, and then your boy was like, I'm not in your team, man. It was like one of them shades, like, good game, like, yeah, I just whooped your ass, but Prince was shade. It was shade.
You know what that reminds me of?
What?
You remember the Jay Mills and E Ness battle?
Oh God.
And after I embarrass Ness, I'm gonna shake his hand.
Oh wow. Wow.
So those of y'all hip hop heads, I do this every couple years. I pull up and I watch the fuck round from Jay Mills on Ness. It's like one of the hardest rounds of battle rap you'll ever hear in your life.
See, I was never a person that was into the rap battle stuff. Like, I remember I tried to get into it, and then there was like this dude named Murder Mook, and every time, maybe it was just me, but anytime I saw a Murder Mook battle rap like thing, he always lost. Always. And I was like maybe just me, but like, people talk about like he's a legend. Like, well, if he's a legend, like, don't you eventually gotta put glove on jaw? Like, this man was always losing. So, that's kind of where I left off. Like,
I had to explain.
Hey, bro, them DVD, like, the DVD era of rap was just like totally
wild
different,
time.
It really was. Like the DVDs
I remember,
and all too.
Bro, I remember Jin was showing up on them joints, like to do like Smack DVD battles.
Yeah.
But yeah, so moving on. So Tony Schiavone interviewed Orange Cassidy about his upcoming TNT title match with Cody.
I'm sorry. It just made me think. I get, he's no longer with us, but did you ever see, what was the name of the, was it not Rap Radar? It was basically like something resembling a documentary series that was like a day in the life of rapper X, and they had Shawty Low on there, and they had that man in Born Home.
The Born Home.
And that man was cooking crack on the stovetop, and I was like, I can't believe they recorded this. I can't believe they recorded this. What are they doing?
Shout out to LO, the real bankhead.
Oh man. Wild times. Yeah,
I made sure I was in Atlanta earlier this year. I made sure I put on that Shorty Low while I was in there, know. But Orange Cassidy then spoofed Bill Belichick and downplayed his loss to Brody Lee in his last Cody, or the draw with Cody and his last TNT title match. And after that, Dasha caught up with Cody and Arn Anderson as they were arriving at the building. I like Cody's suit here. He said he heard there may be a stipulation added to his TNT title defense against Orange Cassidy next week that ended up being a lumberjack match. He said he's gained weight on his hiatus because even though it's a light heavyweight company, if you look at the opponents he's faced, he's practically AEW's giant killer, and it was time to go into heavyweight mode. I don't know why he needed to put that in there, but, Cody does a lot of stuff that I don't understand.
This is like, do you remember the Triple H training video before WrestleMania 30? How he said, normally for WrestleMania is I have to fight Undertaker and Brock Lesnar.
Yes.
And now I'm fighting this sawed-off midget. So now I'm training for speed. Like, it wasn't that, but it made me think of it.
Triple H and Cody being alike, you don't say.
Good point.
One of these days, we're going to find out whether Cody is Jeff Jarrett or Triple H. One day. One day, we're going to figure out what the percentage is, or if it's just a flat thing. One day, we'll see. Oh,
well, I can tell you right now, he's clearly more Triple H than Jeff Jarrett, just on the strength of, he's had more good matches in the last in AEW history than Jeff Jarrett's ever had. So just that alone, off the strength, is more of Triple H. Yeah, Jeff Jarrett is top tier, finesser, top tier. Almost nobody in pro wrestling has made more while doing less in the ring or on the mic than Jeff Jarrett. So there's definitely that.
Remember, he always wins. So after that, Eddie Kingston cut another promo on Moxley. He said he hates what he's become. He had become a snake. He said being a nice guy got him nowhere, but his current attitude has got him to a world title match on pay-per-view.
Nah, you're missing some text, some other details in there. He mentioned when Moxley's promo about who's in the dark, talking about how you've made nothing but excuses and you've done nothing but judge me, but all you're doing is blaming this on me to not pay attention to your failures in life and excuses that you've made, and now you've cut all these shortcuts or made all these shortcuts to become this person. And then he does a live promo in a Carmelo Anthony Syracuse throwback and says, "You know what? Everything you said in that video, Moxley, is true. I have become this person that you just described because I had no other choice, because these are my only options, and now I have this." It's like, he has the self-awareness to know that he's actually a scumbag. This was
the self-aware scumbag. I'm you know what? I ain't shit. That's like Tupac and Juice.
Yes.
You know what?
I just don't give a fuck.
I am crazy.
And I don't give a fuck. Yes, this was very much this was peak Heyman.
Yeah.
I am the scumbag that is going to tell you that I'm going to stab you eventually. So,
amazing.
I love this, and I was just and we'll get to it later, but I was like, compared to some other stuff that's been brewing for months and months and months, I was like, bro, in 3 promos on one show, they have shat on this shit, on this one thing that they've been building towards for months and months and months. So we'll get to it eventually, but I'm finna air out on one of them while praising, Eddie Kingston and John Moxley, because a week ago, I was like, why are they doing this match again? Now I'm like, yes, bring this fucking match out. So,
and it's an I Quit match, man.
Yeah.
So I wonder, when did the stipulation get put in for the Hell in a Cell?
Well, it was because, remember, the whole match of the first match at Night of Champions was that he wanted him to say, I am the Tribal Chief. He won the match, but ultimately couldn't do it. So he wanted to put him in the I Quit match to get him to, by quitting, basically designates him by saying that he is the Tribal Chief. That was the whole setup.
Gotcha.
Like that was, Roman Reigns with the good storytelling on the main roster television. Good Lord.
I think this might be just a coincidence, actually.
It is.
So after that, we got Phoenix versus Pentagon, and James, what do you think of this?
Oh, well, we'll get to that in a second. I want to say one thing real quick. John Moxley, out of nowhere, working on his 3rd Feud of the Year contender for 2020. Out of nowhere, he pulled this out his ass. All right, so yes, watched a lot of wrestling. I watched 3 Stardom shows to catch up. This week, I watched the Wednesday shows. I watched, Hell in a Cell. This might be the only match, aside from Mayu and Takumi. This is the only match from aside from Mayu and Takumi from last weekend that I was like, I have no notes. Great match. Perfect. Love it. Makes sense. Like, obviously, it's helped by the fact that, like, there's no story that they can screw it up with or whatever else. They just 2 great wrestlers going out and wrestling. How novel of a concept. They had a great match. I loved it. Like, this is my 2nd favorite match since going through the G1.
Yeah, Phoenix like hoodwinked him towards the end, playing on the sympathy of his brother. Pentagon not wanting to do him how he would normally do anybody else in these streets, and it catches him slipping at the end. There was a lot of cool spots, legacy Pentagon stuff, like with that big power bomb off the flip thing. There was, Canadian destroyers everywhere. There was super dives everywhere. This was just like, man. Like
the tornado spot, that was like a non-standard, off the post. It was like a non-standard one. The spot where the first person I think that I've ever seen reverse like the rope running from, Phoenix, where he basically moved out the way, grabbed the rope, and he just basically, tumbled over, cause obviously that was, just too great. And it's funny because, the first match I ever seen between those two was with you in Orlando.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, or was that in Orlando or was it New Orleans? I can't remember.
So we both saw them at Rev Pro against different opponents. It was Pentagon versus Saber, and Ray Phoenix versus
we've
Will.
seen them on WrestleMania weekend against each other. It was
2019.
Yeah, it was New York.
It was 2019 when they fought each other,
and it went like 7 minutes.
Right.
And it was incredible for 7 minutes. It was just like, if they ever get a spot to do this or whatever else, they're gonna go fucking nuts. Like, they went nuts. I still think they can do a better match. That's the crazy part. Like, I think, like, this is a 4.5, 4 3/4 star match, and I'm like, yeah, they save shit. Like, they can go back to do this match eventually down the line and tear the roof off even more.
Yeah. So the winner was going to get Kenny, so Phoenix moved on, but it turns out Phoenix did get injured during this match, so Penta is going to replace him. And they shot like a little promo with Eddie Kingston and pretty much announced that. So next week we're getting Kenny versus Pentagon.
And you see how, like, when somebody's in a tournament, they go to a last second replacement and they go to somebody that is related to that person, whether it's a brother or a tag team partner, much like Sonny Kiss and Janela. So either way, like, Pentagon versus Omega is a rematch from All In, right?
Yes.
Do you remember anything about that match? Because I do not, except for the Jericho run-in. I don't
I remember that one because there's this great near fall in that everyone believed, even though Kenny was the IWGP champion. I believe he gave him a package pile driver. I remember watching that match and being like, "Wow, Kenny gave this guy a whole lot. Why?" Like, because at that time, Penta was just like in Impact, and he wasn't really. Didn't he have Lucha Underground thing by then? When he had Lucha Underground, but it had been a couple years since then.
Okay.
Like it really broke out, and he was just kind of in Impact. As a tag team person, did it was like, man, he gave him a whole lot in this match, but then eventually won. But it was great. It was I think it won.
It was. I remember being great, but I don't remember anything about it except for like the Jericho run-in where it's like lights go out. All of a sudden, you see somebody dressed as Pentagon. You're like, "Oh, that's Jericho! Get the fuck out of here!"
I believe it won Keepin It Strong Style as Excursion Match of the Year that year. So
okay, so like either way, like we've seen Kenny have matches with both Lucha Bros. And they were both great. So like, I love the idea of him having a match with either one of those guys. Like, quite frankly, I've made, small, complaints about it, but like, I feel like Phoenix and Pentagon have been wildly underutilized pretty much ever since the end of the Young Bucks feud. So, give them the world. They're fucking awesome. That's what.
Yeah, and that tag team division is like really packed now and really built. So if you can afford to lose these guys to the singles ranks, I mean, why don't we go ahead and do that for a period of time?
Right, and I quite frankly feel like, given where we are with the baby faces and where they seem like they're like headed, like you're going to need to like replace them with baby faces, and like Phoenix would be a perfect fucking top of the card babyface, or number 2, number 3 babyface in AEW. Like Pentagon clearly has the charisma to do such a thing. Obviously, I'm worried about their promos, but it's like this is a match company, so it's like maybe that doesn't really matter that much. Like if you just let them be their overly charismatic selves and put subtitles down there, that should be able to do the trick.
Right, and I think Tony Khan's aware of that. Like, I think that because apparently that's like what really got Pentagon over. Like originally was like his promo was like with the subtitles.
Right? Yeah.
So then they did a video package with Miro and Kip and the Best Friends. Best Friends said they didn't mean to destroy Kip's arcade game. Just Miro just hanging out. After that, Marvez interviewed Colt Cabana, Alex Reynolds, and Silver, and John Silver stole the entire segment. So,
I don't remember. So what did Silver say? I forgot. I
don't remember what he said either, but he eventually just got on the mic and then like kind of stood in front of Reynolds and then like he just kind of started dripping his BTE charisma all over the set here. So, my dog Long John, after that, we then got a world title eliminator match with Hangman Page and Colt Cabana. This was just okay.
This was at the top of the 9 o'clock hour, and this is where we gushed about like a great first hour. This is where that comes to a close. This match was not bad, but I don't think this match was good either. It was just kind of there. They tried hard. It just, I don't know if it's because of what they've done with Cabana so far, to where he's kind of been like in the back, to where you just like, and like in future rounds what this could mean for the tournament, and you're just like, there's no way he's gonna fucking win. Yeah, man, and ultimately, Hangman beats him. Like, do you have anything to go over with them as far as like notes for the match? 'Cause I don't.
I think Colt Cabana is like to the point where he is a veteran. Maybe he can turn up on the right night and give you something like how he gave you against Lance Archer that one time.
Oh yeah.
But most nights, it's probably gonna look like this at this point.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, like I don't even know. Yeah, it was. I'm not even saying anything as far as saying it was necessarily bad, because I don't think it was bad, but I don't think it was good either. I think it was just there, and I can't remember anything about it that, except for like they were trying at the end with these near falls. I was like, nah, bro, ain't no one buying on this shit. But yeah, it'd be like that sometimes. Like, and that's one of the things that makes me worry about, not worry, but have some reservations for Hangman at the top of the card. Like, he's not as experienced as a lot of the other guys that he's going to be interacting with. So, like, what happens when he's not in the ring with Kenny Omega, like, holding his hand, or the Young Bucks, or a Jericho, or a Moxley, or a Pac, or a Phoenix, or whatever else? Like,
well, we gonna see next week, because he's in there with the War Dog, and the War Dog don't miss.
That's what I'm concerned about, because, like, he's in there with Wardlow, and he's gonna be the person that carries and is ring general, and Wardlow, as far as I'm concerned, is unblemished. Right. So it's like, if we get a blemish here, it's like, all right, man, like, you've done all this goofy stuff with the Hangman character, like, this might, I don't want to say it's too much too soon, because, like, they've done a good job with him, but it's like, this is like the time where it's going to be, show and prove time with him. So we'll see.
Yeah. I still think he's far away from, like, the ultimate goal. I'll put it like this. I think Kenny's winning this tournament, and Hangman's going to have to chase even longer. So in that year or whatever, like, the next time, like, by the time, like, next summer, that's going to be his time, I think. I think this is, like, this is a precursor to that. So this is like a preseason for him, and then his regular season begins, in the finals.
I'd be fine with that. Tournament. I'd be fine with that, because, like, I don't want him to be the next AEW champion. Do you?
No.
Yeah.
Especially without crowds around, because he was a guy that the no crowds has done a number on him, because he was, like a human fireball at one point. After that, we got a video recapping Matt Hardy being revealed as, or Sammy Guevara being revealed as the Matt Hardy mystery attacker, and then they did announce that they're going to have, like, some type of Hardy compound match with Sammy and Matt Hardy. I imagine this is going to be absolutely absurd. I don't know what to expect, but Sammy will do anything, and they've got a lot of time to figure this out, and it seems like they've wanted to do this for a while.
Yeah, was it last week or was it 2 weeks ago? I was like, if they're going to have a match, it needs to be a Hardy compound match. I don't want to see them actually wrestle, given what happened every time they wrestled. So, I'm whatever, like, it's another look. So, good for them, and Matt Hardy doesn't have to, do it live, so they can shoot whatever they need to shoot and do it. So, cool.
After that,
Am I interested in the feud, or given, the feud continuing? Yeah, but whatever.
So Team Taz came out to the stage for a promo. He said they got two problems, Will Hobbs and Darby Allin. Taz said he hasn't heard back from Hobbs since offering him a spot, and he needs an answer. Taz said he talked to Tony Khan today and learned that if Ricky Starks had beaten Darby Allin 2 weeks ago, it would be Starks wrestling for the title at Full Gear. That's a nice way to kind of loop that in.
Nice touch.
Taz said that burns his ass. And after that, Ricky Starks takes off on the mic on Darby Allin and just, like, gives it to him verbally, essentially.
Yeah. Like, remember when you talk about, like, how unfair it used to be to have, like, Heenan with Flair or Perfect, and then also have, like, Heyman with Punk. Like, with Taz and Ricky Starks is, like, unfucking fair. It's like, god damn.
It's just like, bury you.
It's just like, there's a whole lot of choppers on your ass. Just like, it's just killing people, dude. It's killing people. I love them two together. Like, I wish, Taz and, Starks and Cage were more of a priority. Because, like, I just like those three together, having their matches, doing what they do in the ring, and talking that much cash shit. I love them. I really do.
since Allen is locked into challenging for the TNT title, it seems like, and feasibly Cody, we're imagining, with Hobbs and then Cage and Starks, like, does Hobbs need to find a new partner? Could they do a tag match here? Or can they do, like, can they run back Starks and Cage or Hobbs and Cage at the pay-per-view? Like, what do you think they should do there? Because like I'm not really in the business of letting these great Ricky Starks promos just go to waste.
I don't know. Like they have one of those weird. They have too many quality promos. Like they have too many people that like make you interested in what they're going to do. There was like, damn, like, obviously you need Cage there Taz there for Cage. And then you have Starks, and then the two are talking shit. He's like, I want to see them. When do you see them? I don't know. I have pay-per-view. Damn, bro, that's like 3 weeks from now. Fuck. So, that's a good problem, but it's still a problem.
Right.
Like cause, like that 6-person tag matches went up in smoke.
Right.
Seemingly,
yeah, I don't know where it is. Maybe they do it the week before or something like that. I would like that, but I mean, he's kind of on to Kingston now, so
right. Like it's pulling too much focus. Then it's like it also is like dealing with Kingston when he just like that whole thing with Kingston. And then with Moxley, after Moxley just got done with Archer and Kingston dispatched of Archer and to get to Moxley, and then like you also throw it into like Moxley and Cage still have smoke. It's like that's real confusing at the time, so I wouldn't even broach that right now. So they might just have if this were another promotion, I would say maybe like Stark screws Darby Allin in his TNT title match. Cause like they're going to shoot Darby some bail come pay-per-view time. Like I don't think he's going to win the TNT title. So what other out can they give him aside from Team Taz screwed him? And like we still haven't gotten Darby versus Cage either.
Yeah, I think they could attack him, backstage before the match, or like earlier in the night or whatever, and then he essentially limps into the Cody match. And then
why can't we get Cage as a TNT title challenger?
Hey, I mean, Cody likes fighting these big dudes, so maybe we'll see.
Yeah, come catch a drill claw. Come off the belt.
We gotta be careful because like Cody may want to like merge the FTW title with the TNT title and shit.
No.
That ain't for you, baby.
Ain't no merging. There is
you.
Ain't no merging. I'm talking about Cage with 2 belts. That's what I'm talking about. Nah, Cody. Yeah. No.
Then up next, we got the much talked about Le Dinner Debonair.
Oh, God.
MJF and Chris Jericho were at their steak dinner. They did some one-upsmanship regarding their steak temperatures. If there was one thing that got heat with me in this segment, it was MJF then ordering a 20-ounce well-done steak. I was like, what kind of fucking animal are you? Like, well done, 20 ounces. Fuck you, Jack. Real heat. I couldn't imagine eating no 20-ounce well-done steak. What?
I could back when they were giving black people expired meat.
True.
Like, that's one thing that, like, it's so funny when people talk about how, like, for example, the old LeBron story about how LeBron, like, until he got older, always would order steak well done. It's like, well, that's one of the legacies of Jim Crow and slavery, is like, they used to give us bad expired meat, so black people used to order food or have their food cooked well done to make sure that they wouldn't get fucking sick. Like, yeah. So a lot of black people, when they do that, that's the legacy of their grandparents or their parents dealing with that. Like, and it's stuck. Like, so when people make these jokes, I'm like, nah, bro, this shit's a lot more toxic than you think it is, bro. But yeah. As far as
after that,
What?
I was gonna say they broke in the song and dance from there.
Yeah. Broke in the song and dance. So, yeah, man, like, it wasn't for me. You know, like, I appreciate the thought that went into the lyrics where they're burying everybody else on the AEW roster they hate, which is, I thought that was cute. Like, it's a segment that I think, like, oh, that's cute, but it's like, do I want to watch that? No.
Yeah, this is not what brought me to the stage. This is not what brought me to the building. I understand that it's there. Look, I wasn't visibly disgusted by the segment. It was just like, this is wacky Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho, like, this is right in his wheelhouse.
He's a gimmick.
This lines up with him, like you said, being a total gimmick. This lines up. He could have done this with Kevin Owens, you know, he could have done this with fucking Christian years ago. He could have done this with Edge. He could have done this with a bunch of people he's been aligned with. At any point in his career. So, like, it fits.
Yeah.
Do I want to see it? Not really, but it seems like they're trying to keep us in the dark on this MJF and Jericho thing so far. So I get it. Like, I'm not going to kill him for it.
All right. Can we talk about what's real? Can we say what's real in here?
Go ahead. Hit him with the real.
Why is MJF a better vocalist than international recording artist Chris Irvine?
MJF seems like he was in concert choir in high school. Seems like he played lacrosse and football. It seems like he was somebody that was like an American Pie. Like, he seems like one of Stifler's friends. To me, I feel like this guy's like, he's got this hidden talent he hasn't been telling us about. Like, he's clearly like a trained singer. Kind of like Big Cass, also from that New York area. So something about them Long Islanders, like, you know, and singing and, you know, concert choir type stuff. I feel like I'm putting something together here. When do we hear Taz join? I know he's from Brooklyn, but it's a little different.
Idea of orange ass Taz doing show tunes is hilarious. Like, I imagine that him and Jericho talked about it, and he was like, "That's funny, man." And then Jericho's like, "Hey, do you want to join in on this? Like, eventually for something like this, like somewhere down the line." He's like, and all of a sudden the chuckles goes from that to Stoneface. No, Chris, I'm not doing this with you. Nah.
MJF, hidden talent.
Like, we talk about this all the time with, like, Rock promos, as far as, like, you can do whatever you want when you are The Rock. Like, Chris Jericho, you give him the rope to do these sorts of things. And, like, I don't mean that as far as, like, it sucked, as far as, like, I'm saying, like, the people that liked it because it was Chris Jericho doing it. And Chris Jericho makes them feel good. So, like, whatever, that works. Like, but as far as, like, it was just too cartoonish for my liking. Like, and for me, it's like, it's not that I'm an anti-musical show tunes dude. Like, nah, like, quite frankly, in 2005, I saw Rent in theaters, and it, like, I don't want to say it changed my life because that's taking it way too far, but, like, it made me reevaluate some of the ththings I like in entertainment and why. So, in a positive way. So, like, for me, and, like, also, like, when Les Mis came out with Hugh Jackman and what's her name? Oh my God, what's her name? Anyway, the one that came out like in 2017 or whatever, Les Mis, like, I love that. So it's like, I'm not an anti-show tune person at all. Like, I think Jean Valjean was a fun nigga for letting that woman die, but whatever. Well, that's beyond the point. We're not gonna get to that. But, like, when that man died, he went to hell. But we're moving past that part. But yeah, like, it just wasn't for me on my personal wrestling television show.
A full-blown musical. So if you haven't seen the segment, check it out for yourself. See what you think, and listen to what they're saying. So as best you can. If you can separate, like, the visual and what you're seeing, because, like, I didn't catch everything at first. And I thought the lyrics were on point. Like, they were burying the shit out of people. Like, they was dropping hammers on folks. Yeah. So after that, we got Britt Baker against Kylan King. One of my favorites. Britt Baker was, she looked good here. She looked like she's definitely been in the gym. and she came back and she hit the like they were trying to out wrestle each other real quick, but it was a quick match. Britt gave her a flatliner, a curb stomp, and the lockjaw for the submission. I think eventually Kylie King's going to get signed. She has a major league kind of talent about her, so yeah, it looks like they're firing Britt back up. Britt looked good in her return here.
Yeah, you know, if not for the injury, she probably wouldn't in the title right about now. But you know,
Yep.
I didn't think it was much of a match. So what I'm going to ask you is something that I've been meaning to ask for a while. Where do you rank Britt Baker's spray tan? Because she is in. I don't know if she's fully Orton, but she is orange, and she's been orange for a minute.
I didn't really notice with her because usually her look, like for like her gear selection, like her jacket that she wore to the ring was super hard. So like when I see Britt, I notice other things rather than her spray tan. I'm like, yeah, her gear's this hard. Her hair looks a certain way, like stuff like that. So, yeah, I would have to take another look.
Yeah, that ain't natural, bro. Like that's all I'm. No. But yeah, we can move on.
Yeah, so they announced next week Heyman Page and Wardlow, and then Kenny Omega and now Pentagon, Taynara Conti versus Abaddon. I heard there was an injury for Abaddon, so we'll see how that plays out.
I believe that match got canceled. You know what happened?
Okay.
You know what the story on that is?
I don't. What did you hear about it?
I don't know if it was either from Meltzer or Alvarez, but the story is that Taynara accidentally punched her in the throat, and then Abaddon couldn't breathe, so they had to cancel the match.
Wow.
Yeah. Which is like, wow. Like there is a obviously we trolled and clowned on Meltzer, you know, the last couple years over those G1 match between Ibushi and Ishii when like there's throat chops and throat punches about him, you know, concern trolling or whatever else, but like, nah, bro, like you're not like when people joke about punching people in the throat or do or whatever else, like that's because that shit's super fucking effective. You can really fuck somebody up if you punch them in the throat, and you know, unfortunately, it happened, and I hope she's okay.
Yeah, damn, tough business. Hopefully she'll be back, and hopefully, you know. Hopefully this is some type of mistake that's easily fixable for Tay. So I imagine we'll get a replacement.
Don't punch people in the throat.
Yeah, I imagine we'll get a replacement match for that then. I don't know if anything was taped, but Cody versus Cassidy in a lumberjack match in an Inner Circle Town Hall meeting was announced for next week. So they're going to be discussing MJF coming into the Inner Circle.
More Jericho playing off of this election.
Yep.
It goes back to him in Orange Cassidy with the debate.
Yep. Boy, I can't wait for this shit to be over.
Yes. Please.
Matt Hardy versus Sammy Guevara in the Elite Deletion, that's what it was called, was announced for Full Gear. Darby Allin versus TNT champion Moxley and Kingston I Quit match, and FTR versus the winner of tonight's main event. Then, all of a sudden, Steve-O was there with Darby Allin.
Yeah.
What the fuck was this?
Normally, he does these stunts to show you how death-defying or how he is, or how much of a thrill seeker, adrenaline junkie he is, a person that's looking for a dopamine hit, or show you the kind of pain tolerance he has, you know, where those diving off the bridge, bungee jumping, getting dragged in the body bag around the yard. He has stuff like this. This was the first one I thought was a miss because it's like it looked lame. It's like obviously,
I was like, what are you doing?
I know as a person that has watched a lot of X Games and stuff about skating, that is like, why are you watching that? But just like, as a person that like really was into like and around a lot of people that like were into skating growing up, like I understand how much that fucking hurt for him to fall off that half pint to come down on that drop. But I don't think the average person understands it and probably thinks that like he more just like slid down, and no, he did not slide down. He hit at like whatever, like approaching that 45-degree angle on that wood, and then rolled, and that shit hurt. But like you can't really see that inside that bag, and it wasn't like a super high drop or a super high ramp, so you can't really get it just didn't hit. It didn't work compared to the other things he's done. Like when he's jumping off like off the bridge to the water, like that's another level, right? Like, when he has a flamethrower, that's another level. He needs to bring the flamethrower back, by the way, but that shit was awesome. But nah, this was the rare miss for one of these with Darby for me. When he did the crowd surfing the body bag in the concert, that was also dope too. Yeah, this is just a rare one. Like he was the batting average went down. It used to be 1,000, now it's in the 900s now.
So after that, they showed a video where Kingston was reunited the Bunny with the Butcher and the Blade, as the Butcher and the Blade enter for the main event. Very sad to hear about QT and Allie not together anymore, but it was good for QT, so.
Okay, so real quick, before we move on to something more important, far more important, did they explain the breakup or the transition of the Bunny back towards the Blade, or they just dropped it off?
She just came out while QT and Pentagon were having a match, and she was dressed back in her old Bunny gear, and then she walked out on them, and that was it.
Do you think we're going to get a Blade versus QT match?
Maybe.
Because then if they do that, they can explain to you what happened off camera, right?
Yeah, like, I would like to know, because I have followed this storyline diligently from day one. Yeah, and I would like a real payoff.
Because the only thing I give a fuck about QT about is like, look, bro, is he going to fuck the Bunny, or is he going to get murdered by the Blade for trying to fuck this man's wife? Like that was it. And they just like, what happened?
I've watched AEW Dark to follow the promos. I am in on this. So Tony, figure it out.
Yeah, they need to get back to this match. Look, fisticuff must be had.
Yeah, either it was an ultimate violation, or like we got to get some type of resolution here.
Like you can't just retcon this shit like it ain't happened. It happened in front of our faces. We saw it. She all of a sudden,
she can't just come home. Like she can't just come home.
No. She can come home.
Oh, correct. But she can come home. But Blade has to say something.
She can come home, but what needs to happen and when she comes home is we need a camera in the kitchen when she walks in and they have the talk. That needs to happen.
Yes. Or Blade need to be putting them hands on QC.
Yeah, either or. I'm good with either or.
Yeah. So,
especially when Kingston a couple weeks ago was like, "Where's your wife, huh? Where's your wife, huh?" Like, nah, you can't be out. Nah, you have acknowledged this, so we need to get to fisticuffs or the dumpery of or like whatever is about to happen next with QT and the Bunny and the Blade. Like, yeah, bro. Like, even WWE when they did that off-panel shit with like all of a sudden Lana was with Lashley. They at least went through it and explained it. It stunk, but at least they realized they had to explain it. You gotta explain this.
Yeah. Then we got the main event, Fatal 4-Way, with the Young Bucks against Private Party, Butcher and the Blade, and Silver and Reynolds. So this is a pretty good match. I don't think it got to the level that I would have thought this match would have got to, but there was an injury in the match with Alex Reynolds just kind of got the wind knocked out of him and knocked out, apparently.
The wind?
Yeah, he took a splash and then also a leg drop. So I imagine
it looked to me like he took the splash and the leg drop, and the top rope leg drop knocked him out.
Right.
That's what like to me. But if it was a story that if it came out that like the win was actually knocked out of him, it's like, well, I need look here, bro. If the win was not, I need to react as if like the win got knocked out of you, and like going in the position.
I think that's me adding my own color because I'm like,
that boy didn't move. That like like the last time I saw somebody get hit with a leg drop and end up getting hit on the head was when, incidentally, Natsuko Tora at the last year's Cinderella tournament came off the top rope and landed ass first with the leg drop right on Jungle's head. And what do you know what happened a year later? She hits her with a leg drop on her knee and tears her fucking ACL. Maybe, just maybe, Jungle needs to never be around Natsuko Tora ever fucking again because she's been trying to murder her for all this time. But back to AEW.
Yeah, Bucks ended up winning this match. This was very fast. There was a lot of good wrestling in this, and of course there was that part we mentioned with Reynolds and Silver, and it seems like just no one picked up on it. It was like the Blade like pulled him kind of to tag him out, and then he was out of there. And it looks like it was a lot of bodies around, everyone looking at everyone else and not seeing Reynolds at any point, which was like, there has to be someone, like one out of how many people? 7, 8? Someone's got to see him.
It was 9 people involved in the ring alone between all the participants. Well, actually 8 because one's knocked out. But between the 7 wrestlers and Rick Knox, and
like, I'm not saying stop wrestling. Somebody see him. That's all I'm saying. Like,
yeah, and eventually it did. But the thing is, like, it needs to happen faster because you go and watch the replay, and he just is in there for like 15, 20 seconds. Just
I didn't even notice it live.
Same here. When you watch the replay, you're just like, oh my god, like he's knocked the fuck out. And I'm glad they eventually saw enough to get him out of the match. Like, this wasn't a Kyrie situation at TLC last year. But like Kyrie wasn't knocked out flat out like in the way that Reynolds was. So maybe that would have changed if she were. But like, yeah, man, it was just all bad. And that's what the first thing I thought of was like someone getting knocked out at a certain point in the match, and then the match keeps going or whatever else. And I'm still a belief that like if someone gets knocked out in the match, and it's not something important, and it's not an important match that involves months of booking or whatever else, like this match was, like, if it's a match like this, like, let me phrase that. In most matches, someone gets knocked out in the match. But if it's a match that's, like, super duper important, figure out whatever you need to figure out between all the parties involved, besides from the knocked out person, and get whatever finish you need to get done, and get it done as soon as possible. Like, if they would have had to have Jericho go out there and riff for whatever out to end the match to get through it, or to fill time until they close the show, that's what it would have had to be. But it was real bad, and it's a bad situation because it's like you have to start making choices that are against that fly in the face of medical care for your guys or your guys and girls. So it's rough being back there in the communication because it's like, it's easy for me to say that, but like, I ain't the one that's got to answer, that's got to talk to Turner. It was like, what the fuck? You just had whenever he went out, like 6 minutes of dead air. What happened? Well, his guy got knocked out. Well, we're paying you fucking Kevin Durant money. Like, so it sucks. It really does. It really does. It's a bad situation for everybody involved, and it sucks that everybody got put in this position.
And luckily he's okay. Apparently he was okay. Right after that he was up, and word that night was he was cool. But at the end of the match,
can we talk about Silvermania real quick?
Yes.
Can we talk about Silverism?
Yes. Looking like Baby Cesaro.
Yes, that's the first thing I thought. Like, he went on that Cesaro multi-tag run where he just like kills everybody and basically goes on a hot streak by himself, a one-person hot tag. It was awesome. Silverism is real. Silver, I believe that Silver is going to get some burn off this in a real way, and I'm excited for what he's able to do. I really want to see him wrestle Pac. I really do. I really want to see him wrestle Pac. I really do. I really
I want to see him versus Mr. Brody Lee one day.
Oh, that's gonna happen. That's definitely gonna happen. Like whenever they turn silver babyface, like that'll be a thing. Yeah, I can see that in in the next year or so. Yeah, definitely.
It came down to Bucks and Private Party, and they were kind of reprising their match last year, of course, when Private Party beat them. Right. They did the entire finishing sequence, but instead of Isaiah rolling him up, he ended up getting rolled up on the reverse. He
reverses the roll, right?
Yeah, he dropped into the victory roll position. Matt fell back, got the 1, 2, 3, and the Bucks are the number one contenders to face FTR. FTR is on commentary, by the way. FTR was absolutely horrible on commentary. They were giving a lesson on how to not sell tickets, how to not draw money with your opponent. All they were doing was just constant burial of the Bucks, calling them telling them they would, it's dumb shit about making tags, like backyard stuff, like all this stuff. Like, that's cool that you may have said that stuff like months ago, like when the match wasn't on the horizon, but now, like, you gotta be like, hey, these are tough guys in there. Like, we've had a long history with these guys, even though we haven't, ever been close to each other. And I'm excited to face them. Like, something like that to, like, make it seem like people want to invest in this match.
Especially when you come in and you make saves for them on their behalf because you want them healthy when you finally beat them. Right?
Right. And all they did was, like, I mean, I get it. I understand their heels. Like, I understand the wrestling business, but maybe I'm not the one that should be questioned on who understands the wrestling business. And this isn't the first time that I've had this question with FTR. Like,
yeah.
If you want to go ahead and take off on this now, because like they've like, it feels like, yo, this match is so much hotter the first day they showed up than it is now.
So after they win the match, they go in, they hand them beers. They don't want their fucking beers because they've already been fucked out of title shots because of them before, dealing with them around. They end up brawling around. They isolate Matt, and then they Pillmanize his leg, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So after
and Tully jumps in with the fucking mask and gives like a Gato in like chair shot.
Tully comes off the second rope for a stuffed power driver. And was Tully, he was masked, even though there was no reason for there to be a mask, and you knew it was Tully the second to happen because like we've seen Tully like do shenanigans at ring in AEW before. We know what he moves like now at this age. So I'm happy he didn't blow anything out, because when he did, I was like, oh, because this is like, it made me worried the same way that like when he did the first few times in AEW. It was like, I don't know if your joints can handle this, but I'm glad nothing broke. I'm happy. So basically, since was it August when Hangman screwed them, or September? September. Was it August or September?
Late August.
It was late August when they got screwed. Ever since then, they've been heels and assholes to everybody in the basically that they interact with in AEW ever since then. The Young Bucks. So they've been dicks. So the answer to that was to get sympathy on Matt by effectively injuring or breaking his leg, whatever you want to call it, spraining his ankle, whatever the fuck. So now when they have the match, you're back to the dynamic they originally with. So it's like, why did you, or in theory, that's what it is. So why did you go with this thing where you had the Young Bucks be dicks for like a month and a half?
Something's going on. I feel
it's not making sense, because like if this is where you were going, you have them basically act like Kenny has acted more or less, where it's like, I got fucked by Hangman, I don't want anything to do with Hangman, fuck you screwed me, and I'm the person that got screwed here, and you let that cook until you do this, because like now you've gotten, after they've manipulated that dummy Hangman into turning, now like you are the aggrieved party, and now they're getting more heat. And like, granted, I'm okay with that as far as them doing that, but it was weird, like, after you've done this for 6 weeks with the Young Bucks, now you're back to them being the babyface. It's like, nah, man, this was looking like a heel versus heel program. Why you want to do that to begin with, I have no fucking idea, but now you've changed your mind seemingly, and I don't get it. And this is the program is like, this is so confusing. You had months to get this shit in order, and this happened. It's like, well,
years of backstory.
Yes, but I'm just saying as far as now that, like, they got signed and was there, like, anybody can cut some promos on somebody that's in another territory, but now that they're here, it's like, you've had months now to build towards this. And what you've done to the Elite, who are the top babyface of this company, is you made people not like, because of the Hangman interaction, you've made the Young Bucks less likable. You have made Kenny Omega less likable. You have made anybody that's paid attention to this goddamn show from week to week made Hangman less likable, unless you're just so in love with the fact that he drinks beer like every fucking body else. So,
and he's not the elite.
Right. So, my point is, you had these 3 top babyface acts. You've managed to nerf all 3 of them for these fucking guys, and now when the time comes, you have also now hampered them because the heat they got is lessened because you've made the Young Bucks assholes. It's a feedback loop of bullshit. So, like, they've done all that and have fucked up their program, or have very much hurt their program over the last few months. And then you look at them basically just out of nowhere pull a rabbit out of a hat with Jon Moxley and Eddie Kingston. You're just like, this all come out of the same kitchen? What?
Right. Feels like something's like not
fuck up their
right.
own booking? How did the EVPs fuck up their own booking?
Something's not right.
And
I don't normally like,
you know,
like, because like at the end of the day, the booker is Tony Khan, right? But I imagine like the Bucks and FTR had a lot of say in what they were doing, but I just don't get it. I don't understand what's happened.
Right. I would like for somebody to answer for how did this get this muddied up. And it's like really the only thing that's muddied up right now.
Yeah. Luckily they got 2 weeks, so they're going to need to really verbalize their dislike of one another. Yeah. I think. So, and FTR has struggled.
Hold on. So to fix it, we're going to have to rely on FTR to grab a microphone and explain their way out of this.
I think the Bucks are going to have to. I think the Bucks going to have to grab a mic, and Matt's going to have to
You mean Matt Jackson?
Yeah,
Nick don't talk.
Nick going to have to stand behind him like, yeah, you know. Right. and they may have to lean on they may have to call Audible and call Cody in here and on a video package or something and talk about what this match means and shit like that. Like, they're going to have to. Like, if it's me, I would full court press it.
They think that their Road to show is going to save this for most people that are watching this and are paying attention. They are sadly fucking mistaken. Because you know they love to do that with the Young Bucks. Like, they let Matt talk, and then when the few times that he does talk, it's cool, but ultimately they always want to do their Road to, you know, fake 24 stuff with the Young Bucks very often. And if you think that's going to solve this as opposed to someone grabbing a fucking microphone and retconning this, they're sadly mistaken. It's going to take Bald or Hair or Matt Jackson to fix this. Nobody else. On a live microphone or with Shivani. Or Jim Ross. It's going to take, or somebody. Like, I'm still trying to figure this out, right? Do you remember when they signed FTR signed their contracts and they had that segment where all of a sudden Arn Anderson just walks the fuck in out of nowhere?
Right. Where
does that come into play? That was months ago as well.
I think that got out of there once Arn once they attacked Ricky Morton, I think Arn was kind of out of there at that point. But it's like, why was Arn there? Like, they never told us why Arn was there.
Yeah, that's another one with that tag team appreciation night, right? It's just it's not hidden. It's just not. And it's obvious. Yeah. Like, this is one of the worst top things they've done as a program, when you just go week to week to week and just watch the things and how these human beings have reacted. And it's like, nah. Like, and it wasn't this bad, like, it wasn't as bad 6 weeks ago, but like, now that we're here now, this part is like, none of this really makes much sense. Like, the only thing I believe is that both of them hate each other's guts, but as far as like anything else, nah. Maybe that's all that matters to most people.
Look, who knew we'd get a save it in the ring situation here? Because it seems like it was a layup, but maybe maybe they were too wide open.
You know what's funny?
You know about that phrase. Like, he's too wide open.
They were given too many options. They decided and they end up crashing the car. Yeah. You know what's funny? You said about saving in the ring. You know what this feud reminds me of?
What?
Becky Lynch won the Royal Rumble in 2019, and they had 10 weeks to get to WrestleMania, and they did everything but.
I don't think this is nearly as bad.
Right. No, absolutely. So I don't want anyone to be like,
that's like getting drafted in the fuck out of here draft. Like, I don't think this is getting drafted.
But this is disappointing. Yeah. Right. So you're right. Absolutely right. I'm not, and I wasn't trying to say that, but gotcha. When I think of you gotta go save it in the ring is like, okay, you fucked this up. Go save it in the ring. Oh wait, you decided to run WrestleMania for 5.5 hours, and in like 12 o'clock you want to decide to have a winner. Okay, like, I don't think they're not going to do that. I have enough trust in AEW to know they're not going to do that. But this match better be every bit as good as they have said this, as both of them have led you believe that they think this match can be. And if not, if this is a regular good old 4-star match, a 4-star match ain't good enough given the shit that we've had to deal with between all this stuff. It has to be above 4 stars.
If it's not at where it needs to be, FTR needs to go ahead and start their world tour. Like, they need to go ahead and start barnstorming, because like at this point, like, what we need them here for anymore? At that point, they will have tragically failed as an act.
Okay. I'm not going that far. I would say they're fucked up the act. They fucked up like the program they were brought in for.
They blew their biggest match. Yeah.
But like, here's the thing. They still have good matches on TV all the time, regularly. The problem is, for me, is just like, all this shit they've taught. Like, why? Okay. If you are the people that talk all this kind of shit on Twitter, how about you use that same brain power that comes up with these tweets to craft a cohesive fucking narrative? Is that hard to ask? I think you can do it on Twitter, but you cannot do it. You cannot do it in the drafts.
I think they're so set on doing this Cornette adjacent stick, thinking that's where the heat needs to be, and I think they're misguided on that, because I think that's
Is Jim Cornette on his worst day booking a program this fucking poorly?
After what year?
Any year. I've never seen any Jim Cornette helm thing that he had total control of spiraling out of control like this, with shit, all these fucking plot holes and inconsistencies and poor character choices and motivations.
But
even Cornette was his worst day, because Cornette, his thing is like, he's too conservative for the standards of today. But by being so conservative, he still just follows a storyline of just plain, regular, boring old storytelling of A to B to C to Z. They out here pulling out. I don't know what the fuck they doing, bro. What are they doing?
Yeah, I think that when I say the Cornette stuff, like the stuff that he runs down, like, the Young Bucks with, and I think they're trying to take on a little bit of that, thinking that's the ticket to like people wanting to see the Young Bucks kick their ass, but no, that's not really it. I don't think, because I think a lot of the people have tuned Cornette out. So it's like, and CV's complaints is like illegitimate and like also not really like they don't mean anything, because like we see like, you know, we have rating segments that we can point to, like we see who's drawing and selling merch and like who's actually put on great matches the whole time.
We know for a fact they don't know where their actual heat really is, because when you go out here and you cut a promo saying like the Young Bucks are only getting opportunities because of Dave Meltzer and his wacky star rating, as opposed to the reality, which is because they fucking draw you numbskulls. Like that, you know, that's where you are. Is like they have WWE brain rot. They just do. Like, and I've never used that phrase, but it's like they think they know what the heat is, but they're missing an important detail, and it leads them to jump to this conclusion. Like, nah, bro. Like,
bro, you know how much more credible it would be if FTR would allude to the Young Bucks being as successful as they were. It was like, you sold all these T-shirts, you've built this empire, but you've never beaten us. Stuff like that. Like, that's real.
Right? Think of the way that after they blew that 3-1 lead, the way we shat on the Nuggets. The Clippers were blowing that 3-1 lead to the Nuggets, but being choking dogs and writing and talking all that cash, and ultimately.
And to be fair, they've done that, but they didn't do it in a memorable way.
They have not done it well enough at all. Like, it's just, they're not dynamic enough to where you remember any of that shit. Like, I barely remember that they did that. And it's not like to where, like, that should be your thing. It's like, you failed over and over and over again. You are fucking losers, or whatever else. But they're not doing that. They're talking about fucking Dave Meltzer over and over.
Meltzer. Like,
I don't give a fuck about Dave Meltzer as far as a wrestling TV show. I'm sorry. That's not heat. That's like, wait a second. So, you don't want to just fight them and embarrass them and show them that they're frauds, or at least like you give up the old heel try of line. I feel like we've gotten talked too far about.
Yeah, we've gone way too much in the woods on this.
It just has careened into a fucking ditch, and they need to go get a crane and get it out if they can in 2 weeks. It's just
look, if I'm them, I'm bringing Ross in the room. I'm bringing like anyone with a brain that feels like they can put together some like 2 video packages and like a promo segment and figure this out, because I still think you like you don't have much time, right?
You don't have much time.
You have some time.
Like, it is just it makes no sense. It just doesn't make sense. And
like, literally throw away everything at this point.
It's not even necessarily like it's awful or bad, like how I made those the parallels between like
the Charlotte and Becky,
the Charlotte, Becky and Ronda thing is not horrible or bad. It just doesn't make sense. And you can do. I believe that there's enough brain power in the AEW, like the AEW brain trust to fix this. And quite frankly, I'm surprised nobody's fixed this before, because or let this even get to this point, because it's like, how did it get to this point? Who's watching this shit?
I don't get it, man.
Yeah.
Anyway,
it's weird. It's weird. This is a rare
one of the best shows
in the top of the cards, or above the mid card.
Very well received show. That first hour was like incredible. Depending on where you stand on that dance number, I guess how you feel about the whole show. Right. Tag match is still good at the main event. This is a really strong show. So if you want to run it over to Orlando.
We can do that. Okay, so the first match is Tommaso Ciampa versus Kushida versus Velveteen Dream, which started in the ring. or not in the ring, but it started with Kushida immediately in the ring. This is the first time I remember NXT, like, just more or less, like, trying to start it off fast or whatever else. Mm-hmm. Let me pull up my...
Something to watch there.
So, this match is really good. Like, it is more or less Kushida and Ciampa fighting each other as they're both trying to whoop Velveteen's ass. The nitpicks, or not nitpicks, the problems I'm gonna have with this match is that Velveteen is still super over the top selling. Like, his normal brand of, you know, selling it to 11 is now still on 50, and it's like, it needs to be reeled the fuck in, and I don't know if anyone's grabbed him and like, bro, you are doing a disservice to your matches by doing this cartoonish shit. But they're beating the shit out of each other. Or, sorry, they're beating the shit out of Velveteen, and then in between times, the next person recovers to get their licks in on Velveteen. There's a spot where, just to show you how ridiculous the selling of Velveteen is. They get Velveteen in a corner. They put Ciampa puts Kushida in the corner. Ciampa chops Kushida, because Kushida is also chopping back, but he chops Kushida. Kushida sells because his chest got chopped. Velveteen is selling because the person that's in front of him just got chopped. Why? And then what would happen is he would chop Kushida. Those two both sell in the corner. Kushida would like lean to the side or duck down, and then he would chop Velveteen. So it's like, so tell me again why you're selling for the chop when the person, whatever. So, there's a bunch of cool stuff in this match as far as, them crossing each other up or them setting each other up for, finishers. And then, it's a typical, they're playing on the typical WWE pattern of, oh, somebody is going to steal someone's finisher. So they would like kick out of it or whatever else. Ultimately at the end, we end up getting, after they worked over Velveteen's hand and still has a cast on it, they get Velveteen out the ring, and Kushida actually beats Ciampa. He ends up beating him because Velveteen gets on the apron as they go to do like the double run up on the rope and then roll over into a, victory roll, or not victory roll, but a schoolboy or something, roll up, where Ciampa runs into Velveteen, but Velveteen hits him with the cast, so he knocks him out with the cast, and then Kushida also hits him with a German suplex coming off the rope. So last week, Ciampa was dead to rights. It was about to tap out to the hoverboard lock until Velveteen ran in and gave him DQ. So it's like they're shooting Ciampa bail. I think this is eventually going to lead to a full-on Ciampa versus Kushida match, which would be great because they've had two matches so far. Both of them have been very, very good, even with Velveteen bullshit. Hey,
so as long as he ain't facing Gargano, you know.
So, then we end up getting a backstage promo with Undisputed Era. Adam Cole is there via tablet. They say, you know, they won the number one contendership for the tag match, for the tag titles last week, so they're getting their match against the Breezango. So we get a commercial for Shotzi and Halloween Havoc, talking about the wheel, the make a deal wheel.
So Shotzi Blackheart is the host of Halloween Havoc. So yes. This is like Joey Janela's Spring Break is like Shotzi Blackheart's Halloween Havoc.
Kind of.
I like that.
Kind of. They're not selling it that way, but like you take it wherever you want to take it. We end up getting a promo. Sorry?
They should.
We end up getting a video package to build Raquel versus Rhea. They just showed these two damn Amazons just I can't wait to see these women lock up. So we end up getting Ember Moon versus Jessica Maya. It's a quick match. It's little cool stuff they end up doing, like Ember kind of big leagues her, like, you're not in my league, I'm outclass you, and early on, and then she actually ends up getting her off Jamie, yikes. Jessie actually catches her after she big leagued her and slams her on the mat, and then, like, the next time she gets up quick, she goes, Ember comes off the ropes, and I think she goes for a leg sweep, but, like, Ember's basically, like, rolling dives to get away from it, and she sells the body slam because her back's hurt. So then they go from there, and they give Jessie a little bit, but ultimately she gets put away, with this crazy looking submission hold. It was like, she wrapped up her legs, one over the other, bent them at the knees, while her knees are basically, like, trapped at Ember's waist, and then from behind, Ember wraps her arms around Kamea's face.
I think I saw a GIF of this.
Yeah, it was a whack. It was what I would describe as a wacky lucha submission. So,
I was just gonna say that.
You know what it's like? This is some shit I ain't never seen before. This had to be from Mexico. They love putting people in these impossible assholes. It's either Mexico or from Zack Sabre. Anyway,
wow.
I'm dead serious. I feel like every, like, crazy, ridiculous, like, inconceivable submission hold either comes out of Mexico or from the mind of Zack Sabre Jr. So after the match, Dakota ends up coming by the ring, tripping Ember, spinning her around and giving her a big boot while she was suspended and hanging off the apron. And then she says to her, "You think you can make a name? You can just come back here and make a name off of me. Well, nothing's coming." So she wants her. We end up going backstage where Bobby Fish is laid out with a bad knee. He didn't see who did it. So
we got a whodunit, James?
Oh, well, is it a whodunit if it gets answered in the same show? I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it all got answered in the same show. But
gotcha.
So remember the three undisputed guys are still there.
I love my whodunits.
Yeah. You know, NXT loves a whodunit, a good one. So it was the three undisputed boys. It was Fish, it was Roddy, and it was O'Reilly that were all still there. So, like, he's down, so they just assume, all right, well, it'll just be the best undisputed tag team of Fish and Roddy. I'm sorry, of O'Reilly and Roddy, the classic undisputed era tag team will get their shot. So, we need to get in Bronson Reed versus Theory. This match is basically those two chop each other. Bronson Reed gets up on the top, or gets the advantage. He goes up to the top rope to finish Theory. Theory gets thrown off the top. He fires up. He goes up there again. He gets thwarted again, put on his ass, and laid out. And he goes out there and gets splashed. They call the splash the tsunami. I love it. Big Bronson Reed. That ain't no splash. That is a tsunami. That's like, it makes sense. They're not calling him the colossal Bronson Reed. And they, like, the name is, they call him the colossal. I like it.
I'm shocked. Look, I think there's like a step, like eventually they're gonna be calling that man the Colossus.
I'm sure that's some shit. Why does that sound like some shit they were workshopping for, like, Ron Simmons when he was Spartacus?
Oh my god.
So, anyway, like, also to be noted, like, have you seen his Titantron entrance, Bronson Reed's? Like, since they done the Godzilla stuff, like, basically he's like Godzilla walking through buildings. It's cool, right? It's been around for a few months now, right?
Actually, I think I have seen that.
They have added the words colossal and, like, the Godzilla print. Like, the Godzilla font. Like, I really like this shit. I really, like, obviously, it's only gonna go but so far in NXT, but, like, I like I like the presentation.
Black man, a gorilla, huh?
Is it black?
Aboriginal.
He's Aboriginal.
That man Aboriginal.
Yeah. Okay, but they're clearly going towards Godzilla, not King Kong, so I'm okay with it. So, after he beats this man with the splash, he walks out the ring. Theory says, give me your microphone. I'm 23 years old, damn it. I've done things that you've never done in your 15-year career. I don't care if it takes all night. You are going to get your ass back in this ring, and I'm going to keep fighting you until I beat you. Bronson Reed comes back down to the ring. As he slides back into the ring, after hearing all that jibber jabber, Austin Reed stomps a mud hole in him for a couple seconds, right? He hits the opposite rope. He comes back. He catches a pop-up Samoan drop for the L. He beats that man again. I love this shit. Get Austin Reed the fuck off my TV screen. So, then they go to commercial, or they're heading to commercial break, and they're showing Swerve backstage with Adonis and Atlas. They come back, and we get the match.
Hold on, what was it something I heard about Austin there? He like did a promo where that's
later in the show.
Okay.
That's later in the show. So, we end up getting Swerve, Atlas, and I almost called him Adrian Adonis. Jesus. Ashanti Adonis versus Legado del Fantasma. This match starts out by them, the babyfaces, getting the heat on, I believe it was Zima Ion. I can't remember what his real name is or what his name is now. Joaquin Wilde. And it's like, that makes no sense. Why are the babyfaces getting heat? It wasn't shine. It was literally them stomping a mud hole in him in the corner and cutting off the ring in half for like the first 3 minutes of this match. I didn't understand it. So,
in revenge,
eventually the tables turn. They get the heat on the rest, on the babyfaces. So then, in like the last 3 minutes, it breaks out into some of the wildest shit you've ever seen in an AEW multi-person tag match, bro. There's a spot
a dive.
Swerve fucking saved Jake Atlas' life. He probably should be in a wheelchair if not for Swerve saving this man's life.
That was the dive near the tables, right?
Yes.
Yes,
So,
I saw that one.
Now that they're in the Capitol, or basically the PC that's been vamped up for TV, and they call it the Capitol Wrestling, whatever the fuck. The announce table isn't on a platform anymore. It is at ringside. And because the PC, the configurations are still, for the barricade, are still small in space, so it's similar to the amount of space you would have at Full Sail around the ring. So it's compact. So they do a spot where Swerve does a dive to the floor. He's on the floor with Mendoza. They're on the floor to spot these guys. Atlas gets on the apron. He's facing inside the ring, right? Wild comes off the ropes, comes back, and goes for a generic top rope dive that Atlas is turning into a Spanish fly on the underneath Swerve and Mendoza. As it's happening, because I replayed it 3 times, and after just being like, oh my god, did somebody fucking die here? Basically, because there's no room, because like I said, there's no space to where this would be a normal configuration for the ringside area for a WWE show. The table's way closer than it should be. So Wild is trying to dive over the top rope while falling in a space of 6 feet, 8 feet, if that. At full speed to avoid this table. So it's a weird thing. And then also, while it's happening and Atlas goes his flip, he also is trying to account for the same thing of not clipping this table. And then while trying to avoid clipping this table, he clips the middle rope. So it goes super short. luckily, Swerve catches Mendoza. Didn't catch nobody. But Swerve catches.
Yeah, I saw another dive in this match, bro. Yeah,
Swerve didn't get caught.
Big Swerve dive.
Swerve didn't caught. That was. Yeah, I'll get to that too. So Swerve basically. I'll move to that and then move on. Swerve does basically the Tyler Bate corkscrew off the top rope to the floor. We're not Nan Soul on Legado del Fantasma. I don't know. Did they even graze him?
Bro, they didn't.
Not clip him. Did they even graze him?
Bro, they didn't by accident come close to that man.
The Mike Mazanin School of Not Catching a Bitch. So back to this even crazier spot. Luckily, Swerve, because it was the corkscrew, landed on his ass and tailbone like you're supposed to in that spot. But like, if he had done something crazier, who knows what would have happened to him? It's bad enough that he may have jacked up his back, but still. So then, fast forward, and keep in mind, this is all like a 3-minute span from that spot to this spot where you get the botched tope turned into a Spanish fly off the apron to the floor.
Right.
Swerve, while they're coming down and they're not coming down rotating the way they should, he basically grabs those two because he realizes like that's the reason why he's there is to grab them two. So much weight comes down on him and he basically collapses and falls and basically like I paused it. Atlas had Swerve's body and torso not been underneath those two heads and necks, would have landed literally his head jacked all the way back. Imagine jacking your neck back as far as you can and then dropping completely straight down. That's how he would have felt if not for Swerve trying to catch him and falling. Like, he is so lucky to be alive and up and functioning. They finished the match out with there was a tease for that crazy inverted power bomb off the ropes that Swerve does. And Legado del Fantasma steals the win. They didn't pin Swerve, but I forgot how they got out of it, but the bad guys won. So then we end up getting a segment with the Garganos. Candice has made a mini Wheel of Death. Johnny takes, they're talking about we're going to practice, I like to control things. I need to know, I want to be able to control the spin, almost like someone making like a Wheel of Fortune wheel and at their house just because they finna go to Burbank. But Johnny spins the mini wheel and it lands on Buried Alive match. So in theory, for the North American title, he would have a Buried Alive match with Damian Priest, the vampire nigga. Like, so he's like. He makes his face like, I don't want to have this match with this man. I've been left match with this man. So Candice like, look, don't worry about it, Johnny. I'll spin. She spins. It lands on Trick or Street. So a street fight.
Street fight.
Yeah. Okay. I can do that with, I got some confidence. I beat Mia Yim, a couple months ago in a street fight. That's okay. That's okay. I'm okay with that. So then Johnny goes, he's like, she goes like, I've done this. I can be NXT Women's Champion off a street fight. Johnny says, yeah, you'll be NXT Women's Champion while your husband's fucking buried. So then she's like, just spin again. Just get out your mind. Just spin again. He spins again. That shit lands on casket match. He goes back to making that face like, I hate this. I can control this. I hate this. I'm out of here. So, like, they have the Garganos lately. Now that they're done doing the stupid looking to the camera with the effect thing in the black and white, they're on the right path now. They're on the right path. So, we end up getting Killian Dane versus Everrise again. They get the heat on Killian Dane. I'm sorry, not Killian Dane. On Maverick. Killian Dane gets in there, has a hot tag. They cut him off. They work over his leg with a chop block because he's about to win until one of them ran in there with a chop block. They put him in a leg submission. Can't remember what it was. They get Drake Maverick out of the ring. The other one basically traps him against the ring and talks shit to Maverick and says, Maverick, you're a loser. You've been nothing but pathetic your whole life. This person treats you like shit, and this is your only friend. I'm like, do you know who he's married to? Never mind. But he's like, this is your only friend. He fires up, grabs a chair, gets free, grabs a chair, beats the shit out of the one Everrise dude on the floor, gets in the ring, cracks the chair against the other Everrise dude's back. They lose via DQ. So Maverick's like, damn, I just lost this match with Dane. Dane's gonna fucking kill me. He's like, go ahead, punch me in the face. And Dane's like, that was awesome. Where has this been when you've been doing all this other bullshit? So they're on their way towards their friendship. There you go. Yeah, a nothing match though, an absolutely nothing match. So they cut backstage, and Roderick Strong is now laid out, knocked out, face down. O'Reilly's like, what happened? What's going on? Officials come on scene. What's going on? They go to commercial break. They come back to commercial break. It's Regal, O'Reilly, Breezango, Lorcan, and Burch. So they say to Regal is like, look, man, like, this was the main event. This was planned. I don't have another match. So the belt must be defended. Kyle, do you want to defend? You want to challenge for the belts with either Lorcan or Burch? Because Undisputed did win. He says, nah, man, I'm not doing that. I'm going to the hospital to go with Roddy and Fish, presumably. But especially Roddy. So he forfeits the title shot to Lorcan and Burch. And Regal asked Breezango, do y'all cool with this? They all agree. They shake hands and they get ready for the main event. So then we end up getting Casey Catanzaro versus Zaya. Earlier in the show, they did this promo where, like, Casey points out that Zaya's been a dick to her and Caden over the past few weeks, but is willing to forgive them because of this weird pressure that Zaya is now under because Boa showed up and gave her a letter, and then after getting the letter, walked up to Regal and said, I very much need a match next week. It is of critical importance that I get a match next week. And Regal gave her this match. So she said, look, it is whatever has been going on with you, we've always been friends before, so hopefully, like, by me giving you this match, we can cool this out. So, Flash forward to the match. They're having this match. It's okay. It goes super short, of course, which is funny because it's Zaya and Casey. Short joke. Ha ha ha. So, ultimately, Casey ends up winning. Match with a bunch of... here's what I will say about this. The difference level of strikes between Zia Lee's strikes and Casey Catanzaro's strikes are like the difference of strikes between, like, Aleister Black and The Miz. Maybe bigger. Like, Casey threw these punches during her comeback that were like, she wasn't throwing punches like this or punches like uppercuts to the guts or hooks to the guts. She was throwing punches that were going from right to left as if she was opening a car door. I don't know where those came from. I don't know what those are. I don't know who taught her that. But those is not the way, and it made me think you cannot fight. Those were not the Naomi or Bianca Belair punches. Right. She needs to go to one of them. So
be getting fight.
Yeah. So it's like, oh yeah, you clearly have never gotten physical in your life, flippy girl. So, anyway, Casey ends up winning.
If you can't punch, don't.
Right, throw forearms. That's why so many people throw forearms, because their punches don't look good. So Casey ends up winning. Zaya blows her stack, attacks her because she's failed, given whatever was in that fucking letter we haven't seen yet. 3 weeks ago or 2 weeks ago. And Caden's at ringside. Caden comes and makes a save for her. They start fighting. Then out of fucking nowhere, for no reason whatsoever, Rhea hits the ring from the backs, not from the main entrance, from the backside out of nowhere, and lays out all three of the Lollipop Guild and grabs a mic and says, Rhea, you see this? This is what's in your future at Halloween. Havoc. She paused just like that. Halloween. Havoc. I think what she was really going to do was she was going to shortcut it and call it just Havoc, but she fucked it up and she was like, oh no, Havoc, and added Havoc at the end. So I was like, whatever, just keep glaring into the camera and keep flexing, whatever. It doesn't matter. So, then we end up getting a backstage interview with Cameron Grimes. Cameron Grimes walking around backstage and says, I've laid out this goofball Loomis over and over. I think it's happened twice now. I'm not concerned about him. So then the interviewer, I can't remember her name, she's newer, says, well, are you concerned about this match that you're going to have with him at Halloween Havoc? No, I'm not concerned about no match. And I believe the match was a match from match. That's right, a match from Dan Coffin's personal hell. He Haunted House of Terror match. A Haunted House of Terror match. Now I'm assuming this is like the Bray Wyatt and Randy Orton match 2017, or no?
Oh my god!
Is that
I hope not.
Wasn't that a House of Horrors match?
House of Horrors. Yep.
Okay, so he is basically by a window mirror.
Mm-hmm.
Like it looks like he's about to walk into a break room. So the camera's facing the window, and as he's giving the news, he bugs out his eyes and he's looking off camera, and then into the door with a window. Loomis is just staring darts through him, but he never turns and meets eyes with him. He never even knows that he's there yet. He's just making a creepy face at Grimes. Grimes is shook and is like, well, you know, I guess I'll just gonna have to beat him, and that's how I'm gonna make it to the top of the moon, or the moon, whatever his catchphrase is. And he walks off, and then they look at Loomis looking at him walk off. It's like, I don't care about Loomis.
Yo, that match sounds bad.
Not even Cameron Grimes can work that into being good, and if he does, boy, he's better than I even think he is. So, we end up getting a EO vignette about the wheel of doom, or whatever it's called, the make a deal wheel, and she says, street match, I beat Candice. Casket match, I beat Candice. Trick or treat, I beat Candice.
Bro,
keep going more and more. At Halloween Havoc, I beat Candice. That was the whole promo.
Bro, I want to see the Io Shirai casket match.
You know how dope she would have, how dope a casket match. Look, bro, she's great. She can have any damn match.
Awesome. I want the Io. I strictly want it for the visual. The Io Shirai casket match. What does the Io Shirai casket look like?
I don't know. Small, I imagine. But what I will say
black with a yellow stripe on it.
If you want to see Io Shirai in a non-traditional wrestling match, in a gimmick match, if you will, you can go to Stardom World. It's from 2018, in like probably the spring, and her and Tam had an explosion death match against Natsu and Kagetsu. And
that's hilarious.
Yeah, like when people, you've seen people dress up in the death match Tam gear before for Halloween. Yeah. So yeah, you're familiar. I've never watched that match, but maybe I will eventually. I don't know, but.
Look, I'm trying to see I'm trying to see the casket match get passed around to as many regular wrestlers. We're doing a casket match.
You want to see the Kazuchika Okada
casket match? Yes. What does that match look like? You know,
that is goofy stipulation. Like, okay, so it's like. Has there ever been a casket match that wasn't held in WWF or WWE?
Yes.
Oh, there has. Okay.
Yes. Like many coffin matches. Dusty Rhodes has done a bunch of them. Oh, so which means Cody's a threat to do them at some point.
Yes, it does. That's exactly what that means. That's exactly what that means.
I'm sure there have been casket matches in ECW, I would imagine. But yeah, all throughout like territories, it would be like coffin matches. Shout out to Dan Coffin.
Like seriously, who is morbid enough to say, "Hey, I'm alive.
Like this sounds like some
I'm going to tempt fate and fuck around and for a gag, for morbid curiosity, go out here and have a casket match where I'm going to lose and someone's going to close a casket. You know, this thing that can be sealed and airtight. Nah, bro,
Look,
I'm not doing that.
I don't know this for sure, but I'm pretty sure Jerry Lawler has had a casket match in Memphis one of these weeks that he was there. I'm sure that's happened at some point.
Wow. Okay, so we end up getting a first ever live in ring version of Thatch as Thatch Can, Rich.
Demonstration live.
He's in there. He talks his shit like he normally does, like he normally does, and then he wants to show a live demonstration. He says he wants to show us how to defend against someone trying to single leg you, right? So he has this dude. He has his student. He says, "Student, what's your name?" You got to get this right. I wrote it down. What's your name? My name's Anthony. Great. Andrew, come. He calls him Andrew. Andrew, come try to take my leg. Tries to take his leg. And he ends up turning it into he turns it into a legit cravat. And explain how, and showed you what a legit cravat actually looked like, and how it's actually
William Regal must have nutted himself.
Look, but here's the thing. Why does Timothy Thatcher's legit cravat look so much different from everybody else's fake cravat? Like, it's like, that shit was like, you see the wrestling cravats in WWE, and you're just like, that shit ain't putting nobody in nothing. Like, you see Thatcher put this dude in his cravat, and you're like, yo, he can take somebody out if he really wanted to. So, anyway.
So Timothy Thatcher is Stu Hart.
Basically. Yeah, he's been doing it for months now. This is one of my favorite things in WWE in 2020 is Thatch Can. So, then, he's like, okay, this time, he puts him in a real hold, and that man taps out. So he's like, gasp for breath a little bit. So he's like, all right, now use some, you mad now, so use some of that aggression. Come on, attack me, Alex. Keep in mind his name's Anthony. At first called him Andrew. Now he's Alex. Yeah. So he goes and attacks the foot for the single leg. He rolls through, ends up on top, and slaps on a was it a single leg crab? I think it was single leg crab. So, and then I'm sorry. He rolls over the top and it turns it into a Kimura. So he's like, you see this point right here? This is where people tap. And then Anthony taps. So he's like, but you see how much more space I have to hyperextend it? And he turns it on him. He starts tapping profusely. He starts screaming and yelling, like, let me go. No, not like that, but he's like, let me go. He's screaming. So he finally lets go. And then, the commentators are concerned on whether or not he may have broken it or not, but gets back up. Anthony gets up, and you can see on his face, he's 38 hot, he's furious. This dude took advantage of me. I'm just a student, and he's out here beating the shit out of me. I'm about to whoop him, right? So, he says, so, Thatcher is continuing with his, about to wrap up his demonstration. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden, Buddy grabs him behind and gets attention, and he's like, you want to do something? You want to do something? And all of a sudden, well, do something. You want to do something? He grabs him, puts him in a choke, puts Thatcher in a choke for a few seconds, runs him to one of the corners, and then Thatcher escapes from the corner after struggling for a little bit, and he was like, hey, ref, come in here. You want to fight? Let's fight. It goes a few seconds. He puts that man in another hole and doesn't let go. I was just like, I just love this mean old gruff motherfucker wants to beat people's ass. It went a little bit longer. There was strikes and tough strikes and knees to the gut involved, but ultimately he just beats his ass in seconds and puts him in another hold. I think it was single leg crab this time and he tapped out. So And then we end up getting a Damian Priest tattoo parlor segment. Priest is sitting in a chair getting tattoos. He's talking about like the Wheel of Death and Gargano, and talking about how Gargano, you know, I know you think you have some type of identity crisis right now or whatever else, but like you are exactly who you say you always are. The problem is I wasn't around then, and it's my turn now, and I'm not scared of pain. He's getting a tattoo talking about pain, and he's willing for whatever is willing to come. So he said he's gonna beat this man's ass at I almost call it Hell in a Cell, Halloween Havoc. So then we end up getting Breezango versus Lorcan and Burch. They had a match.
A match?
They had a match. One of the things I would like to point out is they ended up with a spot where Breeze is out on the floor. I believe it was Burch that sticks his head out over the ropes to go get him and bring him back into the ring, and he does like the Adam Cole deal where you get free and then you hit him with a jumping kick to the head while they're still between the ropes. This man airballed the kick and Burch still had to sell it. I don't know what the fuck happened. I don't know if his foot got hit the apron or whatever. All I know is foot did not come nowhere within a foot or 2 feet of Burch's head. Ultimately, Fandango's about to go up for the win, and all of a sudden, somebody out of nowhere with a hood on and a mask on shoves his ass off of the top turnbuckle and then hides underneath the ring apron. And Breeze sees it, but the ref was distracted, so he's looking around, listening to Breeze about someone being there. He doesn't see anybody because, these refs are idiots. So, all of a sudden, while Breeze gets out the ring and looks around for the intruder, because he's also an idiot and doesn't think to look underneath the ring. So while that's happening, Burch low blows Breezango. They hit their finish. They lay out or keep away from they lay out Fandango too, or not Fandango, lay out Breeze outside too, and then they pin him. Dude comes from underneath the ring and he has on this silver mask that's almost like the Cobra Commander from G.I. Joe, except the mask is 2 sizes too small for whoever's head this is, so it looks terrible. Dude takes off the mask, is Pat McAfee. So, this all means that it
ain't over.
This is the
a vehicle
alliance
to push Pat McAfee.
This is the alliance to end Undisputed Mania, or Adam Cole Mania, or Bebe Mania, whatever the fuck you want to call it. He lost. He did all this fucking cheating, and he lost in a match where he was outclassed by your boy. And what I would like to remind everybody is like the worst takeover in years. They immediately don't bring him back. The second he comes back, they go back to having a normal caliber takeover. And their idea was to bring him back. Whatever. So he has Thatcher and Burke. Well, whatever promo he did or whatever else was not aired on NXT. Maybe it was after TV for YouTube.
Yeah, I saw it on Twitter.
Okay, so he never grabbed the mic. He just talking shit like boom or whatever else. So he said like that's Undisputed and mockingly does the Undisputed face. So I don't know where this was headed. I don't know what changes they made, but it's pretty clear. But it seems to me that the person that was paying or bankrolling not Menzies. Was it Menzies? Ridge Holland, before he blew out his knee, was McAfee. Because he's the one that laid out Cole going to the show. So who done it? Who done it was actually McAfee, or he'll explain that to you eventually. So
there was a whodunit.
There was. Yes, there was a whodunit. So what's also at play is everybody in Undisputed, particularly Kyle O'Reilly. Actually, they're back. Not O'Reilly, but as far as people that are suspects, Bobby Fish. They ran into Bobby Fish while he was hurt. We don't know if he was actually hurt. Face down was Roger Strong. Roger Strong was face down. No one saw him actually get hurt. Those two also did not know where Adam Cole was when he got stabbed in the wine cellar, right? Just like any other murder mystery. They were with them when Ridge Holland whooped that ass. So, either one of them or both of them could be one of these assholes that are with McAfee when they eventually split up Undisputed in the next coming few weeks or months or whatever else. So, Adam Cole is the babyface. Probably O'Reilly is the babyface as well, but seeing that he conveniently left to cater to these two dudes that were injured and ceded their title shot to the other two dudes, he could possibly be in with McAfee as well. And after having that awesome fucking match, they might turn him heel stupidly, which I would fucking hate, but whatever. So anybody in Undisputed except for Adam Cole could be in this shit. We don't know, but we know for sure that it's 3 guys right now: Lorcan, Birch, the tag team champions, and McAfee, and we'll see where they go from there. Am I enthused for this? Fuck no, I thought that we were done, but it's back.
They were really about to have Ridge Holland, those two, Lorcan and Birch, around fucking Pat McAfee. They were about to get this man his own fat McAfee goon, you know?
McAfee goon!
He was really about to do it. They was about to try this shit.
McAfee goon.
I'll say this: Pat McAfee can cut a promo.
Yes, he can.
He's very entertaining. The promo I saw on Twitter, I loved it, and I was like, man, these 2 guys get to be around him because we all know those 2 guys are tough as hell, and you know, they've been around a long time, and this is a good look for them.
I'm happy that they're the tag champions.
Yeah, so...
do I wish that they would have gotten their run when they were still baby faces and the redemption story from when they lost at Chicago to a couple years ago and had that great match and came back, and then when they got those comeback promos, they were having those great promos that made you like them more than any tag team on the main roster that wasn't new there, the Usos. I would much rather have it back then, but we're here now. It was one of the things where it's like, could this have been better? Yes. Are we here now? Also, yes.
Yep.
I'm going to miss the Only Lorcan hot tags, though. God, he has great hot tags. But I guess
McAfee Goon, get ready.
McAfee Goon. Oh my god. Like, think about where NXT is, right? Think about where NXT would have been if not for some of these injuries. The champion would be Karrion Kross.
Doing the Halloween Havoc shit and wrapping himself all in that.
Seemingly out of nowhere and not over worth a damn. Would have been Karrion Kross as the NXT champion. Squashing people too.
Yeah.
And then
who would have been fighting them?
Right. And then they've been setting up for McAfee Goon as well. It's like, y'all about to bring in these people that have no fucking track record whatsoever of being over in any way, shape, or form, and you want to put them on TV and make them the top people in the company. Or not the brand. It's like, as opposed to Swerve? Are you out of your fucking mind? This is, and I was thinking about, the Rhea thing, and just like how they've completely just fumbled that with her, and it's like, boy, oh boy. Like, I like that they're done hot-shotting, but when we're going to get to the end of the year in review for the main roster or NXT, or especially NXT, it's be like, what the fuck happened? Obviously the answer is AEW and them trying to fucking counter program, but just from a creative perspective, it's like, what
was a good idea with anything they did with Rhea Ripley?
Not a one. She challenges Charlotte for no reason other than, or to prove that she is better than the person that people compared her to, which is not her problem, is an insecurity of hers. She gets her ass whooped in every fair confrontation between the two. She loses the title. She gets put in a triple threat match, and then she's the one that gets pinned. And now that was July, right?
Yeah.
Now we're damn in November, and she has yet to get a title, get her title match or arc towards redemption against them. Only thing she's done is been doing side quest shit with Aaliyah and Mercedes Martinez and the Robert Stone brand and what's the other thing? Oh yeah, and fighting fucking what's her name? Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez. As it's just like they really did a number to her.
They did a number on her.
They really did a number to her. Like, it's like, I can't believe, bro. Think about where we were when they brought in, or brought up and immediately pushed after WrestleMania 35, Lacey Evans. The first things we were complaining about, especially me, was like, Bianca.
Oh, we had a long segment weeks before that.
Bianca is just well beyond Lacey's best day ever. And if you want to just make it to where you want to compare make and model, if you will, you have Rhea fucking Ripley. And Rhea in her matches on TakeOver, since she's been on the main roster, been on main domestic NXT, she's never had a bad
Lacey Evans was chosen for reasons beyond wrestling. She was like a mother. She's quote unquote marketable. She's going to be pushed to a certain segment of the audience. They're going to be using her in a lot of promotional stuff. Like it was nothing to where it was like, hey, this wrestler needs to be elevated. It was nothing that was not in the thinking process.
Look, as far as the marketing to a certain demographic, sure. I'm aware of that, just like we've always been aware with her MAGA gimmick, right? I guess where I'm just at is like, I cannot believe that Triple H has let this happen to Bianca and Rhea when they should be literally the two people carrying the women after Asuka and the horsewomen hang it up. Those should be the two. It's fucking obvious. It's been obvious since like 2017 during the first Man Classic. And this is where we are with the two. And I know they can easily fix some of this stuff or whatever else, and they've done so little with Bianca that they're not necessarily buried, they're more just stashed. But like, if you're going to do so little with them,
she's been on the main roster for 8 months,
right?
James.
If you're going to do so little with her, why does she fucking come up? Why did you put her in the Royal Rumble and have her eliminate a third of the fucking competitors for her to just be put in mothballs?
Well, you know why.
And also, right? Look at the two Retribution women, Mercedes and Mia. The fuck are they doing?
I think Mercedes is not in it anymore.
Whatever. She's in limbo, right? She's in limbo. Yeah. Look at Shayna. Shayna's in a fucking tag team with Nia Jax.
Imagine.
A big head nigga couldn't even imagine, to quote Lil Wayne. Oh, boy.
Mistakes were made.
Understatement. Like, I think of like this, like some of just like that outright just like just destruction and misses and like not seeing what's in front of you compared to like, and then you look at AEW and you're just like, if AEW could just land 2 of them, please, like, I don't want to say please, but like, hey man, people, when it comes to money time, decision times, whatever else, people gonna make decisions. After seeing all of this,
the choice is clear.
Like, I don't even know if it's like, I mean, even if your thing is like AEW don't do enough for the women, go to fucking Impact. Like, bro, did you see Sasha's interview, like YouTube interview after Hell in a Cell?
No.
She talked about the SmackDown Women's Division. She was like, Carmella, Natty, Bianca.
She ain't got a soul to defend that fucker against.
I think she said Liv Morgan. And I was like, yo, how can they plunder all of this NXT talent over the last 2 years like this. And still,
bro, it's still the same sorry main roster that it's been.
Exactly, in the same sorry, shitty mid-card. Bro, like, if they think about this, like, someday along the lines, there will be no Io Shirai. There will be no Rhea Ripley. There will be no Dakota Kai. There will be no Candice LeRae. Probably there still will be Candice LeRae, but like, there may not be, right? Or whoever else. Like, cause you see what they're doing, like, they're getting up Kaden and Zaya and Casey, because, you know, it seems like they're next. Like, they will be doing takeovers in the next year to 18 months. They're getting them ready. So that means some of this is getting dispersed. And it's like, if they screw up with Bianca, and they are already dropping the ball with Rhea, nothing short with Rhea of her winning the Rumble next year and beating Charlotte at WrestleMania for a belt will fix what they've done to her.
And even then,
you're like, why the fuck?
You gotta hope it ain't too little, too late.
Even then, you're like, why the fuck you go through all that to get to this? And it's like, you know, they finally pulled the fucking Tony Storm card to bring her in finally. So it's like, people are about, you know, over the next 6 months, someone's getting called up, and I'm, you know, like, you look at Io when she signed her contract in the summer of 2018. Back when they were signing 3-year contracts, how much longer are they gonna have her around? So
Io might be like, fuck y'all, I'm going home.
Maybe. I don't know. So, I mean, it's because like, this point is like, all right, so if she's going to be gone by next summer, what's even the point of bringing her up? Potentially.
Man, I hope that Hail Mary can be made. You know, we get an EO over in Jacksonville. You know. Oh, I like that.
I'm trying to think who I want to see her wrestle in AEW. Aside from, like, Sheeta.
Britt.
I don't think that match would be all that good. Yeah, her and Nyla. Her and Nyla would be good. We'll see.
Her and Statlander might actually be alright if they don't kill each other.
If they don't kill each other. You know, well, Statlander's still on the way back. Like, I remember
she's out for a while.
Yeah, she'll be out for a while. So, that's it. You know, by the time, you know, they might both show up on the same show, right?
Who knows?
Yeah. I have some Stardom stuff, but it's basically tag league stuff. Some of the matches are good. Most of the matches are good in tag league. But they're not like things to write home about. Like, I think we're 4 shows in. I probably have 3 matches that I say are over 3.5. Bumble and Azumi are killing it. They're having great matches, or kick-ass matches every time. B and Konami, God bless B and Konami. They have saved fucking Oedo. So, there was a match in the tag league where it was Momo and Azumi versus Saki and Natsuko. And so you already know what that is. Like, you know, Saki comes down with a steel chair, and Natsuko still has her chain. And they had Utami and Big Saya cornering them, right? So as they get into the ring and the match starts, Utami and Saya grab their shit, the chain in the chair, and run out the building. You will have a real match. No more hiding, no more fuck shit. And it was a good ass match. And it was like, she mean to tell me that y'all been having these lame ass garbage matches throughout the especially Natsuko throughout the Grand Prix. And then ultimately, you know, maybe that's the high, you know, Natsuko's not, she's alright. She can be carried to a good match in a singles match. But ultimately, it's like, it's a tag match. She's a former tag champion. with Jungle in the past, her and Saki as a tag team is a good tag team when they don't want to do bullshit. And it was just on display in this match. It's like, so you wasted my fucking time this whole time for the last, like, for the summer and now we're in the middle of the fall. It is, okay, whatever. But B in Konami is B and Konami. Like, they're just a great tag team together. And her, they had, a match with, Big Saya and Utami. That was a good ass match. That's probably the best match of the tournament. I think I gave it 3 3/4. Yeah, but you know, I haven't tabulated the tag league stuff. They had a show yesterday. I'll tabulate the stuff once that show gets out, and then they have a Cork and Hall on Thursday this week. The main event match is a white belt match between Julia and Himeka. They were in the same block in the Grand Prix. Himeka pinned Julia, so that's a match. The next Mayu match up is coming up is for the red belt is November 15th, and it's a big show. It's going to be like in Sendai Plaza, something that's like could seat like 2,700 people, so it's gonna be another big show.
You think they're gonna do Utami or save Utami until the end of the year?
No, that match is happening November 15th. But yeah, man, they're setting things up. Like on last weekend's Korakuen Hall show, underneath Mayu and Takumi's red belt match, they had a Oedo Tai versus Donna Del Mondo 8-person tag match that had Konami and B and Saki and Natsuko versus Julia and Natsupoi and Shuri and Micah. That was like a good ass match. I think I gave it 3 3/4. Started off from the top was Shuri versus Konami in a submission and kick battle, and then like the last, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 minutes was B versus Shuri, just going at it until they go to a draw where they're just like beating the shit out of each other. It might remind me a lot of like Momo versus Shuri at the end of their 20-minute draw between Don Del Mondo and Queen's Quest. And they did that to set up Natsuko asking for a title shot for the trios belts against Donna Del Mondo. So I imagine that they're going to use that for the Korakuen Hall show that they have on, I think, the 14th, like the day before that Sendai show with Mayu and Utami. And I believe like the main event for that Korakuen Hall show ended up being the tag league winner challenging for the tag titles. Because I just think about it in my head, I think there's like 4 shows left. The weekend before that Korakuen Hall will be the final for the tag league. So normally the challenger challenge like the very next show or close to it. So that'd be a nice little setup for Korakuen Halls. Like another thing to mention with Stardom is like Rossi and Bushiroad is kind of slick with it. Like they've rented out these bigger buildings to get the attendance they would have gotten from a Korakuen Hall show. And they've ran like 2 Korakuen Hall shows a month. Like they ran the semifinals of the white belt tournament in Korakuen Hall. Then they came back like a week or 2 later, I think 2 weeks later, and had the tournament final between Tam and Julia. In August, they had days 1 and 2 of the Grand Prix in Korakuen Hall. They had the Grand Prix final in Korakuen Hall. Then they had a Korakuen Hall where the main event was white belt challenger Tam and red belt champion Mayu tagging against white belt champion Julia and red belt challenger Shuri to promote the Yokohama show. And we just got done with another Korakuen Hall show last week, and so like that's what they've been doing. Like it's almost like the Korakuen Hall shows are right now are like the Shinkiba shows, and them going to these bigger arenas are functioning as the Korakuen Hall shows like on a monthly basis now. And I gotta say, like I think it's worked very well over the last 3-4 months. I think they started back at the very end of June. And we're here now, we're almost in November, and they gotten through a singles tournament. They're in the middle of a tag tournament. They've had, big shows. They're setting up for even bigger shows, and it doesn't feel like they've hot shotted. It feels like everything, or for the most part, everything is cohesive. And these matches, for the most part, have been on point, the matches that you're supposed to care about. The first two matches with the kids or comedy stuff, that is what it is. But once they get into the faction warfare or setting up new challengers for titles or whatever else, or even tag matches and faction warfare matches where two individuals just go at it, and it kind of just sets up the trail to get you towards another match in the future. Even that's all been on point for the last few months. It's been a well-ran promotion. I think Tag League so far is a better tournament top to bottom than last year's that I thought was pathetic, but still Tag League. It's Tag League. It's Tag League.
Yeah.
How many times am I going to say it's Tag League? You get it. Tag League's Tag League. But that's the end of the show. Be sure to rate us on whatever app you're using to listen to this. Tell the folks about the Social Suplex Podcast Network. Also check out ProWrestlingTees.com/Social Suplex and pick some official Social Suplex Podcast Network merchandise. Also, be sure to check out the other shows on the network. On Sundays, we have this show on Nation Radio. On Tuesdays, we have Keepin It Strong Style. On Wednesdays, we have the Ricky Clive Wrestling Podcast. On every other Wednesday, we have Roman Wash's Shit. On Thursdays, we have the Grave Consequences Podcast. On Fridays, we have 8-Bit Suplex. And on Saturdays, we have All Things Elite. Thanks for listening, y'all.
All right, y'all. We'll holla.
Later.